Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Overwatch Apex Season 3. I am Atlas, this is Papa Smithy, and we have halved the lineups. Only 8 teams remain, 16 teams came in, and the round of 8 has officially started.
And the round of 8 does resemble the round of 8 from last season, guys. So once again, we'll have a winner's bracket, we'll have a loser's bracket. We've got extra Overwatch piled on after Season 1. People are like, wait, this tournament's good. We need more. Well, guess what? We got plenty, Atlas.
We most certainly do. Of course, double elimination. There's still going to be 2 groups, but you still have to win twice to make it to those semifinals. So the main thing is, win twice, you're through. Lose twice, you are donezo. So we'll see which teams are going to be able to do it. Of course, starting off, we have some spicy matchups today, Papa Smithy.
They're interesting ones, and we get the global team, right? We get Team EnVyUs. That's the big hype point. I'm sure a lot of our English language viewers are excited to see them. The only hopes of the West. We halved the amount of Western teams. Rogue, the hyped one, went home. The Baguettes, they were lowered. But EnVyUs are still here, and EnVyUs have looked really good. 3-0 in terms of match score, dropped a couple of maps to Meta Athena, but otherwise unblemished on their record, and they come in big favorites in our first match over X6-Gaming.
Yeah, they most certainly are. And look, with the addition of Effect, things have gone up and up, Papa Smithy.
And a Korean player, things get better.
Seems to be the case. And of course, increase the amount of Tracer played time, things seem to get better as well.
And that's the cool thing about EnVyUs, right, is that you look at them historically, didn't really have a Genji player, didn't really have a Tracer player. We know they have both now, even though we haven't seen the Genji in competitive play because the Tracers look so damn good. Why mess with perfection?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And of course, after our first series, which is going to be EnVyUs versus X6, we've got LW Blue taking on Combox Spirit. And I'm excited about this one. The reason I refer to it as a spicy matchup is because these two teams, phenomenal when it comes to innovation on any sort of map. And we've seen so many cool things come out of both of these guys.
Yeah, Luxury Watch Blue especially debuted, what, 2, 3 comps it feels like already this tournament. The big Sombra team was, of course, that of Combox Spirit. And we've also got some patch changes today, guys.
And this is exactly why I wanted to bring up innovation, because a lot of things have changed. Of course, Genji and Hanzo, the brothers themselves, can climb a little bit better and shoot people a little bit faster afterwards. Of course, Hanzo as well, having his bow being drawn 10% faster is going to help him out just in general. And he can also charge and wall climb at the same time. Reaper now gets a bunch of ammo back as well when he uses his Wraith form. Doesn't quite have his lifesteal just yet.
We're waiting for that one.
That one happens. And Earth Shatter now doesn't catch people when they're flying in the sky, which makes a heck of a lot more sense.
I mean, a little bit of flying, 2 meters of flying, but not the 3 meters of flying.
No, you can be jumping, you just can't be flying.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, that's sort of how I did it. 1 damage is now off the auto attacks of Soldier as well, and might seem insignificant, but it is not. Papa Smithy will certainly explain. Orisa, you may think it's a damage nerf, 9% off the damage, but look at that. Beneath it, 12 seconds to 8 seconds on that shield. So she's going to be protecting people a heck of a lot more.
And may I compliment you on your Korean reading skills? They've definitely improved a lot, Atlas.
Thanks, man. I mean, I've been studying for about 2 months now.
What's that piece of paper you got in front of you?
That's my Get Help Quick Korean guide right here. That's definitely not the
We'll talk about the implications of that May 23rd patch, 1.11.1.2. Great patch names over here.
Yeah, that
Blizzard.
2 is so annoying. It was so binary before that.
But this is the Group A that we'll have. We'll have the first match from Group A, EnVyUs versus X6-Gaming. On Tuesday, we will have the second match. That'll be Africa Blue versus Meta Athena. And I think we explained it simpler than this very complicated graph with dotted lines does. Basically, double elimination. Win 2 matches, you're through to the semifinal. Lose 2, and you're out. So just basically, it's already one of those binary checks, Atlas. Have you won 2 games? If so, you're in the semifinals. Have you lost 2 games? If so, you're out. Otherwise, you're still playing.
Yep, and the reason these are the matchups, if you missed the group draw, of course, our Seed 1 teams got to choose a number out of a hat, and EnVyUs got number 1. They chose X6, and we went through all of those top-seeded teams, picked teams until there were no more remaining.
It's actually in order, so by the time you get to Group B, third choice was Luxury Watch Blue. They went with a Combox Spirit, who, we'll mention this again when it comes around, a lot of teams looking to dodge Combox Spirit, so Luxury Watch Blue will be playing them today, and then we get the rematch of what was one of the best matches of the group stage. The reverse sweep by Lunatic High over Kongdu Panthera was a super highlight. Yeah. We get to see it again. Everyone wanted to dodge Kongdu Panthera even after their loss to Mighty AOD. So I'm really hyped about the opening matches in these groups, but also some of the implications, because we could get some sweet matchups, even just in the round of it.
We've bookended it quite nicely, in other words, Pop Smithy. It's working out very, very well. And I'm interested to see what Kondu Panthera are going to put to the table as well, because that last match honestly didn't have a heck of a lot of implications. So the fact that, you know, it was won by Mighty AOD doesn't mean a heck of a lot. But let's focus on today. EnVyUs versus X6, then LW Blue versus Combox Spirit. EnVyUs, the West's final hope remaining here in Apex Season 3. And X6 was a team touted to be one of the hot up-and-comers out of the promotion tournament and haven't really demonstrated it just yet, with a narrow victory over Runaway to get them here into the round of 8.
And that's the important point on the side of X6, is they were really hyped in Challenger. They looked a cut above the other Challenger team. We didn't really see that when they qualified. They qualified in the fastest route possible. They won 2 matches, and they were through on, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd day of Apex Season 3 Super Week. But the manner wasn't there. They didn't have the swagger, or necessarily the hype levels didn't deliver when it came to X6, but they made it, right? That's the most important thing, is that they played 3 best-of-5s. They won 2 of them. They beat Runaways, so crushed the hearts of the people that wanted to see Haksal, Runner, and Gang return. Yeah. So they're the team that took them out a couple of weeks ago on Friday and stopped them from advancing. And they still had some new stuff. They were actually the first team in Korea to play this so-called talent comp, which for you and I, casting other games, is a bit complicated, but we're conflicted about that one. But basically the Sombra and the Reaper on attack was a big strategy for them. So they were the ones to debut that. But we have to focus on EnVyUs, who a lot of people here know for their long win streak. They've been around since the very infant days of the Overwatch competitive scene, and they're still here. Season 1 champion, Season 2 best of the West, but couldn't really cut it, couldn't get as far in that Season 2, and they've rebounded. They've got effect on the lineup. They've made a change, and they now look so much more maneuverable with their comps, and the end result has been a lot of success.
Yeah, and it started off looking like it was Effect carrying this team as well, but honestly, it's been a highlight reel for most of these players as we've moved through the season. Taimu has had incredible moments. Chip still stands out in my mind with his unbelievable Sombra that we saw on Volskaya Industries. Like everyone's, Harry Hook as well with his Soldier. You just keep thinking about all of these amazing plays from all of these players, and it's really exciting to see everyone come together as a team, and we'll see whether they're going to be able to utilize that to take down X6, who was their first choice. I mean, EnVyUs, first cab off the rank, decided to choose what they thought was going to be the easiest matchup as some Sombra fans in the audience.
EnVyUs and Sombra fans. Well, I'm sure they will oblige. Sombra is very strong, we know, on this meta.
Yep.
On defense and on attack, but the X6-Gaming fans are here as well.
And remember, to be an EnVyUs fan of Sombra, you need to be a fan of both Taimu and Chips, both of them playing that hero with quite fantastic effect as well. No pun intended, because he only plays Tracer, guys. There's no fooling that one.
We know that he can play Genji. That's the thing, is that if you look at your notes, okay, we're not expecting dive out of the side of EnVyUs. Not true dive anyway. Some of these cheerfuls are just popping off in terms of quality, that's for sure.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Just ridiculous. But good to see that we have some hyper-engaged fans in the audience. In fact, we've almost filled it up. I mean, it's pretty lucky we're starting at about 5 p.m. local time here.
Hey.
Sorry, 7 p.m.
There we go.
Local time. I barely even know where I am, ladies and gentlemen. But 7 p.m. local time means that everyone can make it out. So we do have a lot of people in the audience and a lot of hyped fans looking to see what is going to happen, because there's some exciting stuff today.
Yeah, the new patch coming in. We'll shake things up. You know, we haven't really had enough time to delve into it. We will dole out some of those hero changes. I don't know if we'll see a reset, but who knows? If we get Nepal, there's always the chance on Sanctum. Little changes to Soldier means maybe McCree comes back, and that's always hype.
Yeah.
Taimu has been one of those big McCree players, and I think we're going to hear some words from the players.
X6-Gaming! X6?
EnVyUs에서 지목해가지고 당황스러워요.
아, 망했다!
솔직히 저희 팀 왜 골랐는지 모르겠어요. 결승에서 보고 싶었는데 여기서 다 날아간 것 같아요.
Our quarterfinals will be pretty easy, and we get to pick our opponent, which feels really good.
X6-Gaming 맞습니다. 지난 시즌에 메타 테라가 그랬던 것처럼 X6-Gaming이 그 전철을 그대로 밟고 올라가네요.
여기 처음 와서 3대 0으로 진 것도 많이 충격이었고 멘탈이 좀 나가기도 했었는데 더 연습해서 자신감으로 채웠던 것 같아요. 제2의 메타라고 다들 많이 말씀하시는데 제1의 X6가 되면 좋을 것 같아요.
all the deep runs in other tournaments. It's the ability to handle all the pressure that's thrown into us.
결승 같으면 역시 더 다르다. 이들은 멈추지 않고 계속 바뀌려고 노력해요. 차별화된 모습이 아닐까.
And we can win this tournament. It's nice to have the feeling of being an underdog again. I think team comes with our team, that we're a really random team, so it's really hard to strat against us now. All I can say is that I'm going to play a lot more Widow and McCree.
저희 팀 색깔이라고 한다면 밸런스 있게 앞뒤 다 봐가면서 팀적으로 이제 움직이는 게 특화된 것 같아요. 그리고 제가 너무 잘하는 것 같아요. 에이펙스 딜러 중에서 치면 제가 1위?
아 망했다. 진짜 이거 나가면 망했다.
All of their players are worse than every single one of ours, so I think it's going to be a relatively easy match. Once again, we're the only Western Pride here, and I hope we can bring the championship back to NA again. Since I'm talking, all you need to know is that you're going to go down 3-0.
준우승팀 잡았으니까 이번에는 저희가 우승해야죠. 경기 끝나면 그냥 앉아 계세요. 저희가 부스로 찾아갈 테니까.
Overwatch Apex Season 3, energized by Hot 6, quarterfinal. Today's matchup, EnVyUs, X6-Gaming.
Well, there were some fighting words between Godsby and Taimu Papa Smithy. Both of these teams fire in their bellies and very, very confident.
Those are some big words on the sides of X6-Gaming especially.
Oh, yeah.
Stay in your seat. We know where to find you. Is some pretty damn good trash talk here. X6-Gaming, they're going to need to back it up with a big performance. Team EnVyUs, even though they're the only global hope, the hope is well-founded. This team looks powerful. Effect has slotted in better than anyone could have expected. How could you think that adding a Korean player to the squad will make them better? But there's highlights across the board, and we'll get to see some of them.
Chips high-end.
어깨를 밀고 오 성공
그쪽 일단 둘.
완벽하게 조금 더 안쪽까지
Coco.
이펜 선수의 들어오는 타이밍은 정말 빠른데 갑자기 와 그건 안 되고요 먼저 당장 98m 한 번은 버텨야지 이펜 90과 98 오 버텼어요
Effect.
리폼 무조건 아꼈다가
네,
빠지다가
이거 찍어냈고.
이거 대놓고 춤을 춰도 못 막아요 못 들어오죠 이러면 97, 98 못 들어갑니다 타이머
Harry Hook.
다 쓰고요 거기서 여기 뭐가 쓰겠다라는 얘기 자 뒤에 이팀은 대박 대박 했거든
Mickey.
자 예배 맞고 내려오세요 야 예배 안 써도 된다라는 건 그냥
Taimu. EnVyUs.
Well, good to see EnVyUs still excited to be here. And look, I'm excited to see what Taimu decides to do, because he mentioned more Widow, more McCree, Soldier's been nerfed, and some changes in composition could certainly be the result.
And I'm going to be a simple man. I just want to see more of Team EnVyUs, because I know I couldn't have predicted that adding in a Korean speaker who knows very little English and then putting them straight into Season 3 without a lot of downtime between seasons would make them a contender. But instantly they popped off, reverse sweep against Meta Athena, and then not dropping a game since those first two. how Effect and Taimu have linked up has gone better than I think anyone could have predicted. Everyone looked at Rogue and said, this is the team for the West, believe in them, we're not sure about EnVyUs. I think that part was founded, but Rogue unfortunately wilted in a very difficult group, and EnVyUs have been better than anyone could have predicted.
Yeah, most certainly. And look, you said that they started off instantly being fantastic, but they've taken that moment and still improved week after week. They've looked better and better, and we'll see whether they're going to continue that uprising here against X6. Because this could be a very quick series if trajectories are on point, Papa Smith.
I can't disagree. I think they do come in big favorites. They keep getting better, like you say, but their opposition have a bit about them as well.
Yeah, they most certainly do, and we're going to see it right now.
Gilly.
자, 개피 발사. 자, 그러면
역시나 버블이
저기
있고요.
처리.
계속해서
수밖에
백과 이거 바깥도 못 들어요.
Bebe.
그거 보면서 공격하긴 했고요.
자,
지켜주는 거죠, 지켜주는 거죠, 수혁이.
와,
와, 이거 또 빼앗아요. 차라리 그냥 동세 선수가 얻어맞다가
최효빈.
번시해보고 못 썼어요. 백킥돼서.
자, 죽으면 또 죽어. 이렇게 될 것인지 같이 치고 들어요. 죽어. 오, 둘.
Godspeed.
네, 너무 좋은 위치고요. 장조아의
자,
부착.
펄스. 야.
Time Boy. No Smite. X6-Gaming.
And X6, a team that was sort of known for running it up left on Temple of Anubis, then turned it straight into utilizing the talent comp to wreck their foes. We'll see whether they're going to continue that sort of somewhat... Look, honestly, the running down left was not a great moment, Papa Smithy, but they have improved since then. We'll see whether it's going to be enough today.
And it's really hard to read because they were wrecked by Afrika Blue, like everyone in their group, and the runaway match was kind of the one where you're like, okay, wrecked by Afrika Blue, then they beat Flashlucks very easily. Like, okay, I don't really know what to make of this team, X6-Gaming. And their performance the second time around Anubis, showing the talent comp that came from Challengers Korea first, was very impressive. They were the first team to pick up on using that, and we may actually see it from both teams, given that we've seen Team EnVyUs use it subsequently after X6 used it to take down Runaway. I'm really looking forward to tracking Time Boy as well. His job in the Nexus Cup, really tying up Ryujay Hong when they surprised Lunatic High and took them down in a series, was something to track. So Chips versus Time Boy, which might actually be a matchup as Time Boy wants to go and occupy those supports, could be a fun one to see as well.
Yeah, it could be exciting. Of course, the Tracer battle, always something worth talking about. We are heading to Nepal for our first control point map. Some opportunities for that flank harass, Papa Smithy, and some opportunities for some interesting new compositions as well. So we're going to see what people want to be bringing out here on 1.11.1.2.
Yeah, right, get all those numbers there. One number that might be relevant, already played so far by EnVyUs, 1-0 on Nepal this season. Hasn't necessarily been a big one. We've had a lot of Oasis, it feels like, this season.
Does, yeah.
But we might be going to Sanctum. We will be going to Sanctum at some point. Might see some Orisa. Hope springs eternal. It's the first match of a best-of-5. We're still going to have multiple rounds. We're still going to have double elimination. No one is out at the end of this series, but one team is one set away from the semifinals.
Well, we'll see who's going to be able to bring it home as we head into our very first map. Let's go to Nepal.
I get it.
X6 fans out in force, but we're getting it here on the desk, Papa Smithy. It feels like a while since I've got it here on an Apex broadcast. It's fantastic to be back. And let's see what the first changes in compositions are as we get on to our first point.
Yeah, both these teams have been pretty simple in terms of their team comps. They've both been running basically 2-2-2. The dive has been the big one on the side of X6. Godspeed's deprioritized the Genji over time, but still is really the only notable Genji player in this entire set, given that Effect still hasn't played it at the pro level for EnVyUs yet. He was drafted into the team for his Genji and Tracer play. The Genji's been enough, and it's definitely carried them so far as one of their major tools and weapons so far in Apex Season 3.
Yep. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Papa Smithy. I believe that's it, as we are going to have the teams facing off here early on. Surprised to see no Faras this time around. Has been something that we've seen in this particular map.
2 quick picks here for X6.
Oh,
Whoa.
massive. Make that 3, 4. X6 are tearing them up. Mickey's going to lose his mech and his life, as Effect is the only one to get a revenge kill. So X6, the early statement, most certainly for them.
Yeah, they will be able to drop down and get the first contest on the point. 2 kills very quickly for Godsby, dashing through, got the reset. 77% already on the Dragon Blade. Could have that with just a couple of quick left clicks in just a second, and big start for X6.
Yeah,
they're going to need to drop down.
Yep, definitely backing up those fighting words as well, as Effect is already on the point, and Timer's picked up a kill as well. Nicely played here as EnVyUs fight back immediately, but Godsby's got a Dragon Blade and he wants to change things around. Both supports already dead on the side of X6. This could be massive. Oh, Effect gets reflected to death, I believe. Shoyobin's going to be able to take down Mickey. X6 do manage to get this one back. Still time in the bank here for EnVyUs to try and lay claim to this point.
Yeah, X6 was so late in dropping down. They wanted to really know they had the formation. 2 quick picks, and we thought EnVyUs would get the quick flip. But having the Dragon Blade, that initial 76% from the first salvo, the Dragon Blade turned it around, and EnVyUs, despite getting 90% onto trying to claim it once, weren't quite able to, and the percentage just ticks up for X6.
Well, Effect has been able to pick up a kill. Pulse Bomb wasn't able to find the mark, but Gilly still falls. Time Boy isn't going to find one on his either, but X6 still doing the work that they need to. Godsby's popping off right now on this Genji.
And the Pulse Bomb was eaten there, but more crucially, that fight was won despite the fact that Gilly went down mid-animation on the sound barriers at 72%. It continues to tick up, and EnVyUs, they've got 4 ultimates, but they've got 1 more push. Otherwise, it could be an insanely quick first point on Control.
Yeah, they'll almost have 6 ultimates by the time, but still, they do need to get this flip very, very soon. And Sound Barrier does go down on the side of X6, so Gilly gets it this time, and Timer going to throw down the tack visor. It's a really nice Transcendence to avoid a lot of that damage, but it's not quite enough, as EnVyUs has picked up 3 picks already. Make that more as the Helix Rockets tear Choyobin apart, and finally, the flip comes in.
Still has to use 5 ultimates to be able to complete the point. X6 used the Dragon Blade early, but in the trade of Transcendences, X6 popped theirs first. It went down. Soldier's ultimate still running. The beautiful tracking was enough to end the first fight there for Team EnVyUs. They get position on the point, but as you can see, all the fun usually happens to bridges.
Oh!
Pulse Bomb, very nice.
Effect, you sneaky little devil, just finds Godsby around the corner.
And that's
Quick
so
bomb, that'll
big.
do it.
It's so big as well, Alex, because they need the Dragon Blade. They need to farm it up to probably flip the point. And this is going to delay. This is just like a delayed strategy of keeping a Diva alive and really desyncing the respawns. They have to wait for Godsby to get back into position. This will buy another 20% of percentage with just 1 single Pulse Bomb.
Well, Effect is going to pop all the way down. Time Boy unable to get any harassment, as Godsby is going to find him once again. And here's the dive. No smite, right in amongst it already, but EnVyUs, they're just going to pick him off. Choyobin is going to be able to get the kill onto Chips, but without all the front line, Self-Destruct is going to come in. Time Boy gets another Pulse Bomb kill, though, onto Timer. This could be it. This could be an opportunity now for X6 to get the flip back. They only need 5%, and they're all on this point. Effect doing what he can. Throws down the Pulse Bomb, but doesn't get any of the damage and is finally taken out there by Time Boy.
Yeah, baby, with a double kill coming through on the Zenyatta before going down. Here's the last attempts to delay. They want to buy time. Time who can't buy much, and we're already in overtime.
Well, Chips is going to do what he can, but it's not going to be enough here for now.
Mickey can buy a lot of time too.
Yeah, most certainly can. Primal Rage from Coco already on the point here at the same time. They got it up to 70%, but Godsby with a Dragon Blade now. We've got a Self-Destruct, and that's going to buy some space, but probably not going to be enough as the overtime ticks down and X6 draw first blood.
And it was the first blood of the actual fight. The kills on top of the bridge before we saw the drop down and the claim of the point that really carried it for the side of X6-Gaming. Godsby jumping onto the Genji. We said the only Genji player expected to come out of this series, given that Effect hasn't been entrusted with it so far on his EnVyUs career. was the difference between the two teams largely. Loved Bebe getting some really nice left clicks on the Zenyatta to clean up a fight as well. But EnVyUs find themselves a map down. Have to reevaluate. We'll see if there's any big structural changes, as Taimo has largely been on soldier duty, was on the first map. Probably will stick to it here, even with McCree looking slightly better with the small soldier nerf.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because Taimo's known to switch around a lot when he's on control. 7 switches in comparison to the 4 from the rest of his team that has happened throughout this particular season of Apex.
He's a very flexible player. He actually spent a lot of his time on Roadhog in previous seasons, but hasn't been entrusted on that with Effect in the lamp. They've changed their compositions.
Yeah, Effect, speaking of, is going to try and land some harass here as X6, most certainly in a group, just doing the best that they can. First cap, 5 seconds, and already a lot of harassment coming in. Timeboy's going to be able to grab the mech, and Taimu's going to fall down. Bebe, my God, he's going off today, Papa Smithy. And this is going to be, once again, X6 with the picks that they need to get the work done. Effect, once again, going to be able to get one, but this looks reminiscent of last time we saw this.
Yeah, the D.Va play there, I think, was the big difference. The first person to go down was D.Va's mech suit, so they didn't have the defense matrix anymore. At the same time, very high health on the side of Cho Yobin, who was still able to get in the front line and spend time diving between front and back. So the D.Va staying up meant so much more damage could be absorbed. X6 went on to clean from there. It felt like the healer synergy with the side of X6 was stronger with the D.Va.
Yeah, and if we're looking at the soldiers as well, Godsby had his tac visor built up when Taimo was at 50%.
Speaking of tac visors, once used.
Yeah, he's going to throw that one down. Godsby wastes no time. Got the sound barrier as well, helping him out, but not going to get any notable kills apart from Harry Hook. And the damage had already been done as chips had already fallen. So no supports means that EnVyUs needs to try again.
EnVyUs close to some ultimates. They're close to having all 6, honestly, given that the lowest percentage is on the side of Effect, and we know how fast the pulse bombs come up. Godspeed's actually picked off by chips. That could be massive.
Yeah, and Bebe as well. So 4 versus 6 now, and X6 may need to back away from the point. The first split may come in at 50% this time instead of 95. EnVyUs showing some improvements and holding on to a lot of ultimates, Papa Smithy.
But it's even bigger than that, Atlas. They didn't have to use any ultimates to get the flip. Just a really nice pick onto 2 members right at the start.
Oh, big boop from Harry Hook.
This is so big for EnVyUs, flipping the point with only using Transcendence. 5 ultimates up, they can start spawn camping. They can buy significant percentage here, and maybe not even have to invest for at least a couple of seconds.
Yeah, they go for a bunch of staggers there as well, unable to quite find them, but now the setup time that they have available to them is quite high.
Coco can just be annoying and scout one side of the entrance. Effect was also poking around on that area. We see X6 following their playbook and going left, but look at the pulse bomb!
Oh, there's another one. It isn't going to be able to grab the kills just yet. Harry Hook's going to be able to take down Timeboy, and this could be once again EnVyUs holding on. Effect is going to be able to finally get that kill that he was looking for. No Smite falls down, and Shoyobin all the way back to the spawn.
Yeah, even though the pulse bomb seemed to be eaten there, it didn't matter, and they push in. They only use the Primal Rage from Coco. Nothing more apart from the pulse bomb we saw. Still so many tools. And X6-Gaming, the best they can really hope for is a couple of eco pushes and then coming in relatively even in terms of ult count. Transcendence on both sides. So honestly, the team that baits out Transcendence first could actually be the victor of the fight.
Yeah, with these compositions being so incredibly similar as well, is certainly an opportunity as there's another pulse bomb. Transcendence going to be used just to mitigate that damage. Barrier comes in as Taimo has the tac visor, but good Transcendence timing on the side of X6 is going to mean that they negate a lot of that damage. Sound barrier is coming in as well as EnVyUs trying to hold on, but Chips has already fallen down. Mickey is about to lose that suit, and it is eventually going to fall. Bebe grabs the kill for that one, and Harry Hook's going to get rid of Timeboy. So this could be the opportunity now for EnVyUs to answer back, as it's a 1 versus 2 as far as loss count is concerned in favor of EnVyUs.
Yeah, the health lead is still there. Gilly popped the sound barrier right at the end. Not up for Harry Hook. They're trying to clean it up here, X6.
Yep. Seems like the smack talk happens whilst we're in-game as well, Papa Smithy, as Godsby's off and off at the end of this particular battle, and X6 should be able to grab this once again as it ticks up to 99%.
And look, if you're going to drop it at 99%, obviously it's the best it can be because you have the most likelihood. If you flip it again, you'll get the support ultimate, separated the team. Chips was the first, had to pop the Transcendence, trading of the tac visors after that. But the sound barrier was still up for Gilly to ensure the cap, and not available for Harry Hook to contest the cap. It's Timeboy!
Yeah, that's going to be the stick, and Chips is going to fall. Doesn't take any of his teammates with him, which could have been an opportunity, thank goodness.
But he will not probably have Transcendence for the rest of this particular round. Had to respawn now at 63%, only 10% left. Overtime has to go pretty significant for Transcendence to come up for EnVyUs.
Yeah, and Bebe, he's got his well and truly ready. As effect, he's going to recall just to try and win this Tracer battle, and No Smite's going to be able to take down Chips. Yeah, he's spending a lot of time in the Death Chamber as there's another one that gets rid of the mech, so the Pulse Bomb doing work here, but Godsby with Attack Visor takes down Taimu again, and he's owning this point right now for X6, looking to try and make this a 2-0 on Control.
Yeah, we're watching for the last couple of kills here. X in such a great position. Contest coming through from the last couple of people alive for EnVyUs. Feels like just a waiting game here, Atlas.
Yeah, that's going to be that. The 2-0 on Control for X6, and we toted that it was going to be EnVyUs as the favorites, but with a start like that, I have my doubts starting to sink in.
Gilly with the cute two-handed wave after waving away EnVyUs' hopes on Control. Surprisingly well-coordinated stuff from X6 that we didn't necessarily see reflected back in the group stages.
Yeah.
The challenger pedigree starting to shine through. Big difference there, I think, was honestly in the D.Va play, and I'm not necessarily criticizing Mickey. It's just that the mech so often was going down first for him because there wasn't the same focus in keeping up the health total of the D.Va, and when D.Va's down, you have less tools. You have to rely on something like Transcendence to repel something like Attack Visor. So the D.Va playing around the supports, and also Chips dying twice at the end, having no support because the team was forced to contest. Felt like that was the thing that separated. D.Va has definitely been the talking point hero when it comes to Apex, and at least for the first map, Vantage goes over to the side of X6's. I'm thinking this was right at the start of all the action. And it is. This is, of course, right at the start. 19 seconds, so 10 seconds into our first map. We saw on the kill feed what came through. A couple of resets on the dashes. Casually, 20 seconds into a map, having 70% charge on your Dragon Blade, and that basically solo won them the village.
Yeah. And look, Godsby, he was talking a lot of smack, and we were thinking that maybe it was just a little bit of talk. Couldn't put his money where his mouth is potentially, but he certainly did in our first map, as we are going to see what EnVyUs choose for hybrid #1, and it is going to be Kings Row. Not a lot of surprises there, Papa Smith.
The only time they've been able to choose a hybrid maps, they did choose Kings Row. It's always been a good pick for them. They're 1-on-1 on it, so it definitely hasn't been as one-sided as Lunatic High's famous undefeated streak on Kings Row. But I'm always excited when a series goes to Kings Row. It's one of those even maps, 49-51 when it comes to attack and defense. So usually the better team wins, and it's going to be interesting to see how EnVyUs approaches it, because they haven't had to deal with defeat in a while on a 9-map winning streak after losing the first 2 against Meta Athena. They came in confident. 3-0 was the call from Taimu. 3-0 is certainly not a possibility for Team EnVyUs.
Most certainly isn't anymore, but the 3-1 still a possibility for them, and we'll see whether they can turn it around a little bit quicker this time without having to go through that reverse sweep that they were able to pull off against Meta Athena. Let's stop talking about it though, let's head to Kings Row. Okay, X6 will be on the defense to start things off, as EnVyUs are going to be attacking, and we'll see whether now we're going to have any change-ups. The Hanzo that Taimu's hovering, Papa Smithy. Are you feeling it in your spine right now? I've got shivers down my spine.
I mean, at some point, when you start stacking buffs to a hero, the chance of it coming out gets more and more likely. Hanzo's always been reflected in most Apex days, but it's what? A sonar arrow at the start, maybe a scatter arrow if they're feeling frisky, but no more than that. Taimu has played a lot of it on stream in the past, and it's the charge rate being buffed twice, and also specifically the fact that you can pull the bow, climb, and then get off a really quick shot after a wall climb that makes it again more interesting. Now, are we going to see it on Kings Row attack? Probably not, but the fact that it's no longer a complete joke pick and it's an outside possibility is fun to consider, as we should put a bit more thought into what X6 is running, and Godsby is going definitely against type. They're going to go a bit more tanky on the fence. The triple tank returns here from X6 on defense, so we'll see if EnVyUs will make some adjustments after they open.
Timing with that Sonic Arrow already set up. He's going to actually just not opt in for it at all. Switches back over to the Soldier, and it's a very standard composition from EnVyUs as X6. We're going to see how this comp works against the standard that EnVyUs have.
Godsby's played basically only DPS his first time on triple tank. We see the drop down from No Smite.
Yeah, he's going to jump back to safety, though, as they have control at this point for the moment. But EnVyUs, all as a group, Timu's going to grab the first pick as Gilly falls down early. EnVyUs looking good. Goodbye on a grenade is going to keep them alive relatively long time, but Effect is able to grab that pick. And EnVyUs, they're just storming through right now to try and grab this first cap as Godsby. That shield ain't enough, and Timu's going to be able to lock him down. Effect just so incredibly good at harassing on this Tracer, and that is the first cap very fast.
Yeah, first point cap coming through. The triple tank usually has a Roadhog with an Atlas to go for a fast pick. Following what they actually took, you saw the D.Va and you saw the Zarya and you thought, okay, this is for burning through the D.Va like they were able to on Nepal, both maps focusing down that D.Va, but the approach from Effect, getting a single pick on the first attack, kind of put everything into disarray on the side of X6. They ended up just pulling back, and Godsby's had enough of these silly tank heroes. He's jumping back on the tried and true Genji.
And I feel like Zarya is one of those heroes that you need massive amounts of mastery on to really shine, as the Pulse Bomb's going to go a little bit wide there from Effect, but is at least still buying time. Cherubin is going to be able to take down Chips again, who's not exactly having the day that he wants. Sound Barrier comes out. They try and hold on, but X6 still doing a heck of a lot of work. That's 3 for 1, and X6 should be able to regain control here.
It's defensive dive, gets the first kills, but we see they're still on the point. Mickey drops the bomb.
Yeah, that's actually going to pick up Godsby as well, as Gilly falls afterwards. May have spoken too soon.
Yeah, the fight was happening on two different frontiers, and Mickey was trading up on top of the payload, so they'll continue pushing even after the initial salvo. And this is what happens when you kind of lose focus. X6 changed their identity with the dive, you know, jumping onto the Genji. It did surprise the backline, but their own backline was left exposed, and they're going to push most of the street space unless it's a last-second contest, and for now, we're waiting for the drop down.
Yeah, well, Mickey's going to jump up to the high ground here just to get rid of Cherubin if he can. Timeboy is going to fall to Effect, who's really starting to kick into gear right now on his Tracer. We know that he can be a slow starter, but the sound barrier from X6 is not quite enough to keep their lives together as Chips does fall down. That is actually going to be the self-destruct that takes him out. Just couldn't quite move quickly enough on that Zenyatta, as No Smite's trying to beat the heck out of Timu. Is going to be able to do so as well with the help of that Primal Rage.
Support's down from the side of EnVyUs here, so things are looking good. Although EnVyUs continue trading up, Effect with a double.
Yeah, actually takes out the full front line as EnVyUs used that to take control. Timeboy very, very low, and it seems like despite the kills that X6 are able to get, EnVyUs just streaming this one through.
And Mickey has been the star of the streets phase, doing so much work on the cart to open things up and really leveling up his play after he was really focused down in the first map. So very quick time here, 4 minutes 45 onto the final point of the Sanctuary here. It's looking really good for the side of EnVyUs. Godsby has the Dragon Blade, but doesn't really have a spot to use it. They do get Transcendence down, though.
Yeah, Transcendence is going to come out, and Gilly has won the Lucio battle as Cherubin takes down Timu. So X6 picking up the kills once again, but not losing as much for it. Dragon Blade is there from Godsby if he wants to use it. He doesn't need to just yet. Quick picks for EnVyUs here, as Effect is still being frustrating. Picks up Timeboy there as well. My God, he's taking this game into his own hands. Recall gets his health back. This is ridiculous. It just feels like the Effect show once again, Papa Smithy.
Dragon Blade pulled out.
Yeah, it is going to come in. Oh, God. Not going to be able to get the kill quite there, but Coco is going to fall down. Timu grabs him with a Helix Rocket in the end, so that's 2 ultimates invested, and it's a 1-for-1 as Effect continues to do Effect things here standing on the point. X6 throw down the sound barrier, but it's so incredibly defensive, and EnVyUs still have so many members waiting on this card.
Yeah, they've had so much great play here, EnVyUs, when it comes to playing really coordinated on top of the car. All the dives from X6 have got them very little. Toyobin loses the mech, but we're going to see the self-destruct.
Yeah, self-destruct going to come in. Not going to be able to grab any kills as Effect takes out Timeboy, despite that ultimate buying so much space. Reflect ain't going to do it, and Effect takes down Godsby as well. And he says, well, Timer, if the words battle isn't going to be won by you, I'm just going to take this battle to King's Row and tear X6 apart. Seems like 1 Korean versus 6 is still won out by Effect.
This time Transcendence is available. They keep inching forward. Getting some picks here. They get the mech down on Choyobin.
Immediate attack visor comes out from Timer, has the support of the sound barrier as well as they're tearing X6 up. Only 2 remaining as Godsby and BB looking to hold on to this point, and BB the last man standing. Choyobin, is he going to be able to get here in time to actually buy some space for this one? Booped out of the way, and that is going to be King's Row completed by EnVyUs.
And that's how you back up a poor round on Control. On Hybrid, their map choice, they storm down King's Row to get a very quick time. Feeling a lot better. That Taimu trying to stabilize the troops. The difference between the two teams is that when X6 jumped onto the defensive dive, often their dives were working. We were watching the perspective of Godsby and the other frontliners getting 2 or 3, but meanwhile, we were missing all the work being done on the cart by Mickey and the fact that the numbers war was being inched forward by EnVyUs, and by the time the divers returned to the cart, they had to deal with Mickey and 2 members on top of the cart and the respawns coming in to sandwich them. So they were caught out of position just because the dive started so well, took a lot of time, and then there was nothing for them to come back to because their backline was being wrecked at the same time. So just given how the reinforcements work here, the respawns in Overwatch, they were just caught out of position again and again, and it's a really big time back. 2 minutes 44 is nothing to put your nose up for EnVyUs, and X6, they're going to have to match the first push that we saw from EnVyUs and get some traction.
Yeah, they're certainly going to need to do that. But Papa Smithy, I mean, I think some of the question mark has to come down to backline protection here on the side of X6, because honestly it feels like Effect has had a field day. No one is addressing this Tracer who's able to tear apart anyone he wants. And maybe some of that comes down to Choyobin. Doesn't have the defense matrix for his backliners to really keep them alive.
Again, every team kind of assigns their diva differently. We saw Void, for example, have one of the best shutdown performances of all time, taking out AKM and the Rogue versus Kongdu Panthera match, but sometimes it is better to peel for your supports. It feels like they had the right balance on Nepal, did X6, but it did fall apart when they moved to dive. Speaking of dive, pretty standard dive comp coming through from X6 here.
Yeah, EnVyUs not going to mix things up too much either as they head to defense. But Chips is going to forego his Zenyatta as already a lot of damage coming in here as Timeboy threatening. Good barrier from EnVyUs stops a lot of that harassment, and Timeboy goes down extremely low. It is going to be the first pickup though. Godsby forces some Helix rockets out of Timu. That means that Dragon Blade not going to be built early on here, and this is not going to be anywhere near the cap timing that EnVyUs were able to.
Yeah, the coordination from EnVyUs to pull back, and the dive from X6 was a bit half-hearted. 3 people committed, but not everyone else. You had the ability for Chips to pull back, have good sight lines, get the heals off, and there just was not that much healing available on the side of X6 the moment the amp came down from Gilly. So first push certainly not successful compared to EnVyUs's.
Yeah, some low health bars though as Mickey gets demech. Timeboy's the one responsible for that as Coco's going to fall, so no frontline. Effect grabs BB with a pulse bomb, but otherwise X6 doing fantastically well. Chips falls down with a pulse bomb of Timeboy's as well, so X6 finally getting an opportunity and could be the cap now as they've already managed 2 ticks. We're very, very close. Godsby comes in with attack visor, but okay, well, that was probably poorly communicated.
Yeah, communication did fall apart there. They didn't have to use that ultimate. Would have meant they would have had a 4 or 5 ult time, a 4 ult bank available, so their ult economy would have been a better spot. But hey, you do pick it up. So let's call it a celebratory attack visor.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Sometimes you just want to, you know.
Sometimes you just want to get some tracking. Make it beautiful, Papa Smithy.
You beautifully tracked, I guess, some of the surroundings of London.
Absolutely. Brilliant. But Timeboy just waiting here.
No adjustments from EnVyUs, but they do have very good ult economy.
Yeah, this flank was waited for a long time by Timeboy, as there's the barrier coming in, as No Spite does get the combine, but there's the Transcendence going down. We've got a sound barrier from EnVyUs as well, as Timu comes in with his tack visor. So far, it's only a 1-for-1, however.
Both support ultimates used by X6. They need to get significant meterage or they won't have them available, and that's 2 for Mickey already.
Yeah, he's going to grab a self-destruct kill onto Godsby, so that is certainly good news as Nosebite jumping in once again. Cherubin gets a self-destruct onto effect, which is certainly a big problem for EnVyUs as Timeboy now able to wreak some havoc, throws through his pulse bomb, doesn't quite find the targets, but it doesn't matter as X6 once again doing well as they're pushing forward in the streets phase.
Yeah, Timeboy spared the blushes of his supports where EnVyUs were very controlled, pulling away when they saw both support ultimates invested. And it looked like there'll be no meterage with those ults used, but then Timeboy ripped through the team. Mickey last to fall.
Oh, effect!
Yeah, he's picked off, so there may not be as strong a contest right last second here. Primal Rage drawn out of Coco.
He's going to try and get people off this point, cause some disruption as Godsby's looking for targets. Cherubin takes down Harry Hook and Chips is going to fall as well, so no healing now available. Apart from Timer, who might have himself a healing field. That's about it. Now EnVyUs once again scattered to the hills.
No healing, no frontline. That is going to be the claim. Eventually, you'd have to imagine barring some crazy heroics from Effect. Effect finally taken out.
Yeah, Timer going to go as well, so that is going to be second point.
Coco's too late. They already got the checkpoint, so he dies as well. They're going for some dive here.
Yeah. Trying to get right onto the spawn, X6.
All of that with no investment in ultimates, Atlas. You see 5 ultimates and soon to be a self-destruct available. Effect has had the heroics. He's been the star of this team so far if he had to pick one. He's in the back line, but doesn't have a pulse bomb until now to try and get some crazy stuff down.
Well, speaking of pulse bombs, Timeboy, he's going to be able to take down Chips as Cherubin. He gets rid of Mickey's mech, holds onto his own as No Smite takes down the Baby Diva as well. So with no frontline, EnVyUs once again have to back themselves away. Effect waiting for a flank opportunity, but he needs the rest of his team to be buying some space, and this cart is just pushing straight towards the point. Effect falls down. BB is going completely ballistic this series on the Zenyatta. His ball placement outstanding as tack visors have been traded. Godsby takes down Taimu though, so his tack visor most certainly seems to be beating out that of EnVyUs's. This cart has stopped as now EnVyUs are looking to try and buy some time. Slow up that time bank, but it's looking a lot better than EnVyUs at the moment unless they can get some heroics down, as this is right on the front doorstep.
Yeah, it's right on the front doorstep, like you say, but all the kills are going over to EnVyUs. X6 used everything to push forward. 5 ultimates down, but did not meter them out to actually secure the point. And even though the timer was looking great for X6, you're going to see the changes that are forced here. Just getting back to that cart is so difficult. An immense advantage for the defender's side means that No Smite, Winston is of no use when you have so much open ground to get back into. They need the Reinhardt shield to even get back on the point, and here already is the defensive dive.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb not going to find a target at all.
Calls out the Transcendence though.
That is certainly a good thing as X6 no longer have that ultimate. Gilly still only halfway through as far as that sound barrier, so defensive ultimate's most certainly not there as EnVyUs are going to utilize that as an opportunity to tear up X6. Cherubin gets rid of effect, but still, the front line, the back line, everyone's still available from EnVyUs. They just don't have their frustrating flanker in the Tracer.
And X6 was so good with ult economy till they used 5 ults for basically no meterage, because the difference between 2 meters and claiming the point is massive on defense on King's Row. It's now actually very difficult for them to even get a 50-50 fight. They're getting picked on by Effect, who's in the backline. Timeboy looks for something. They're going to get Mickey's mech suit at least.
Yeah, the deep mech is going to go down as Timeboy picks that one up. Gilly gets rid of Effect once again as Taimu. He's going to do the best that he can to try and help out EnVyUs. Timeboy, though, making it very, very difficult. Oh, Taimu. That was some tracking, Bob Smithy.
No Smite's had to have his shield up the entire time. Only built up 36% towards his Earth Shatter on 2 pushes. Will let you know how much dive and how much disarray the Reinhardt has been dealing with. He just wants a cart that he can park a shield next to, but hasn't even been able to get there. Inching forward once again as Effect predictably as Pulse Bomb is Firestruck. Okay, we were talking about No Smite. That's something.
And Effect has certainly been going down a heck of a lot more towards the end of this particular map, and that is going to be the Transcendence coming down from Chips.
Buying space.
Yeah, uses that as an opportunity to put down the attack visor, but is zoned by the self-destruct. It's actually Mickey's that went down there just to try and buy some space, but it just wasn't quite enough. Never mind, though. EnVyUs still able to just wipe the floor with X6, and the cart continues to move backwards.
Still the defensive dive is working. The transcendence to buy space for Soldier. And when you see the Soldier, everyone has to pull back. The shield was broken. And then Effect once again with his heroics and diving. And if we do see a claim of this point by X6-Gaming, it's by having a 3-minute 30 time bank 5 meters out. It's going to be an overtime.
It most certainly is. 30 seconds now to go. X6 may not even make it there because you were mentioning meterage, Papa Smithy, and that certainly is feeling like kilometerage at this particular point after it's been pushed back. Gilly, though, is going to be able to strike. Coco falls down, and there is the Transcendence coming in for X6. Earth Shatter is going to be able to pick up one stun, and Mickey's going to lose his life for it. Time Boy picks up the credit for that one, and it is going to be the overtime, and can EnVyUs buy themselves enough space to stop this cart? Looks like enough of the kills have come in. EnVyUs, can they get themselves onto this point? Coco with a massive health bar is going to jump himself down, and is he going to be able to buy the space?
Yeah, Godsby's ulting, but the sound barrier comes in at the perfect time. 2 picks so far.
Harry
Defensive
Hook.
Bastion.
Okay, sets him up in decent position, but he's going to fall down, and that's X6 completing the push in overtime.
You can't help but be excited when a Bastion shows up last point.
Yeah.
Kings Row, we've all dealt with it in competitive play, but at the end, they couldn't contest the cart to allow Harry Hope to get any shots in. X6-Gaming get it done, but right at the last, Atlas, huge advantage for Team EnVyUs here. 2 minutes and 45 to just push point A, a point they push on first time of asking. Means that you have to think that X6-Gaming are going to have to get very inventive to not go down. So, still very much EnVyUs in the driver's seat, still heavily predicting them to be in a great spot. As here comes the defense, no time bank at all for X6-Gaming, of course, which means EnVyUs, all they need to do is get one checkpoint, and they will go into the break 1-1.
Yeah, just need to tick that one up. The question is, can they do it? And it was very easy, like you mentioned, Papa Smithy, the first time around.
X6-Gaming not going to be going for the Zarya this time. It's going to be Godsby on the Genji. They've got a lot more work done than that Zarya. I like the idea, given that they were so great at taking out Mickey in the first map, but Mickey has been one of the stars next to Effect on specifically the attack of this map. When he sat on the cart while we were watching all the dive in the backline, they continued to inch it forward and then contested the D.Va and Tracer as they were going to drop down at the last, delaying that and kind of putting disarray into X6-Gaming. He did a lot of work there and getting them this 2-minute 44 time bank. Now they open up on the side of EnVyUs. Pretty damn standard. 2-2-2. Everyone on their big picks. His Time Boy's already dead.
Yeah, speaking of picks, Time Boy is going to fall down. This might mean that EnVyUs have the opportunity to get their way through. Good sleep exactly onto Effect. And they are going to be able to eventually take him down as Godsby utilizes that space without the Tracer to deal with. Try and pick up a pick of his own, but 2 going down. The front line now dead on the side of X6. Can EnVyUs actually capitalize, though, is the question.
Yeah, they bought a lot of the time of the supports. That's why picks would happen. Remember, they have significant advantage in terms of the walk back to the point. So they will, for at least a time, outnumber as Mickey's still not lost the mech.
Oh my goodness, and he's going to get healed back up as well. EnVyUs got themselves onto the point, but it's not making any marks. That is self-destruct coming down, and EnVyUs only need to move this very small increments up as Taimu has the tack visor already. It's the Dragon Blade coming in, but Godsby is getting taken down by that ultimate. Not a lot of space that you can work with there, and that's going to be that. EnVyUs grabbed that point almost as easily as the first time around.
It needed to be a Dragon Blade, but was actually a Genji at 92%. Nano boosted, looking for that last percentage, so wasn't able to contest in the same way. And even though Effect couldn't pull off killing the Ana in the backline, he bought about 10 to 15 seconds of the Lucio and Ana's time with the shorter run back for the attacking team. They got on position first. The healers weren't there to keep up the tank during the battle that was happening and rumbling on the point. And so thus, Mickey picking up enough for the self-destruct, zoned away, only had to get one checkpoint, nothing X6 could do. And we're all tied up, and this one looks like it could actually go to extra innings.
Most certainly could. Papa Smithy, it was feeling like the Meta Athena matchup between EnVyUs, but doesn't need to be a reverse sweep this time if EnVyUs can win the next couple. But it's now 1-for-1. It's a best of 3 here on out. We'll see whether X6 can fight back as we move to Assault. Before that, we will have a short break, however. But Assault, it's going to be an exciting one. Make sure you stick around.
언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게.
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish sparkling water, 트레비.
노력은 선수를 만들고 코어 i7 프로세서는 멈추지 않는 파워를 드립니다.
Welcome back to Apex Season 3. EnVyUs and X6 are all tied up as we move to Assault. 2-point capture, Papa Smithy. Will it be Temple of Anubis as X6 can make the decision to do so? Didn't look great the first time we saw them on the map this season, but looked pretty good the second time.
Well, you want to avoid Volskaya. That's been EnVyUs' playground. And Temple of Anubis, they're 2-1 on overall if you include also the Super Week. So I think Temple of Anubis is the percentage play here, which would mean some Reaper, which always makes me smile. So that's my expectation. I think avoiding Volskaya is the most important thing. So Hanamura or Temple is where I'd put my faith if I was X6-Gaming.
Yeah, we'll see whether X6 have faith in their Temple of Anubis. I personally like Hanamura though, so I'd be happy for either of them. Papa Smithy, see where we go. Not a heck of a lot of choice when it comes to Assault. It is going to be Temple of Anubis. We have our wish. What do X6 have planned for us today?
I mean, if we don't see some talent comp this game from both teams, I'd be surprised. Feels like whichever team runs Sombra has a massive advantage, especially on point B. So I want to see attack Sombra, defense Sombra. I should have a Sombra cosplay going because we're going to get Sombra everywhere.
Certainly going to be Sombraing a lot, Pop Smithy. And when Chips and Taimu both play it on the side of Effect, we know that they're going to do it. As Taimu's singing, kind of wish we had comms in the booth, Pop Smithy.
This choice of song actually does really let us evaluate his mental state
here.
But
Absolutely.
he's been running his troops well. He's been definitely trying to keep everyone in line, and so far, they've repaid him. It was a great King's Row for EnVyUs.
Yeah, and certainly a good bounce back. We'll see whether the momentum continues as we move to Temple of Anubis.
I get it.
Well, EnVyUs fans actually raising their voices here in game number 3, Papa Smithy.
I still love the 3-2-1 EnVyUs fighting in English.
Yep.
I've never heard that. We've had foreign teams for other games. This never happened before. Even when Rogue was playing, they weren't in French, so I guess that was a missed opportunity, but we didn't have that for them either, so the EnVyUs fan base. It's 3, 2, 1, remember, it's 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yes, sorry.
I know now I know you can count in order, though, so that's good to know.
Oh, and apparently I think that 1 equals 3 and 3 equals 1.
I just like to think that you decide to start counting upwards because you don't know any other way. Did they teach you
Yeah, well, I'm a
backwards
positive
counting?
kind of guy. I just feel like things improve, Papa Smithy.
I'm hoping that we're going to see some of the craziness. It's still a little bit of time, so of course could see a reset, but at this point, it looks like we're going to be getting the buffed Orisa on defense, not with a Torbjorn. It's just about setting up for a Widowmaker headshot, as we could be seeing Widowmaker on both sides. Taimu opening on Widow is something everyone demands, so we'll have to wait and see what that is. But this is very different from X6-Gaming. So you see basically Orisa as a Reinhardt substitute, now that the projected barrier has a much shorter cooldown. Taimu looking for the flick. He's going to find a barrier.
He most certainly is, and they knew that that was going to happen. Head straight back in to the hangar to switch over.
Godspeed needs to hit the shot. He has already. He's at 32% charge. That's a start. Taimu actually going to see the team being very defensive. Effect trying to harass people out, but Orisa's so good at controlling space. Might have lost damage on the left click, but such a big clip of ammo that's so hard to get through this barrier with the short cooldown.
Yeah, look at that. Immediately replaced there as well, as Effect's trying to get that one down.
Widowmaker's forced to drop. That could be big.
Yeah, healed by the Mercy, though, who can fly back. But Taimu, he's harassing as well. It's like you've got 2 Effects now with how incredibly mobile this Sombra is. As Timeboy takes down Effect, so make that just 1. As now Gonsby still looking for the snipes. Goes down very, very low. As Taimu should be able to take him out, but no, he's still got that Mercy in his pocket. The hack does come in, though, as EnVyUs on the attack. Should be able to grab some extra points, but no, I speak too soon. No Spike grabs 1. Make that 2 as Harry Hook falls, as well as Coco.
The fight's still not over, so EMP will be up soon, and the run back is shorter. So the fact that still there's enough from X6 will be something. Taimu will just stay long, deep in point B, trying to catch the Mercy as she runs back.
Yeah, gets himself into this hole, though, right on the point. He's being frustrating. But EnVyUs, the rest of the team, not quite here just yet. Godsby committing to this Widowmaker yet again. Had an opportunity to change back over, but Taimu does get the hack down. He's going to be taken out, though. No Smite just doing a great job peeling for this Widow. Looks like massive team play coming out for X6. Pulse Bomb comes down, doesn't quite find the mark, but Cherubin eventually falls. It's not quite enough damage to take him in just 1 go, and is eventually taken out. Effect now stuck in this pit.
Gilly and Sonosmite trying to buy time, but they're probably going to have to back away soon unless he can pick up some more kills. Godspeed still alive, but there's only so much he can do on Widowmaker. Drops down, and No Smite might have done it.
Yep, Taimu does fall down, but he does get Godspeed at least in the end. That's still positive trades for X6, as No Smite's really just bull by the horns, Papa Smithy, this time.
And Chips has been dominated every time he's tried to attempt the point. We're 1 minute 40 away from a full hold, and Chips is only now ticking up to his first ultimate of the game. The Transcendence hasn't been enough, been sniped so much, and even though Godspeed went down twice where he was the crown jewel, it hasn't meant for much, as comes in stealth, now is shown. EMP available for Taimu.
He can utilize that when he wants.
Transcendence already used, forced out of Chips.
The Translocator's up as well, does get up here, throws down the EMP, and Mickey picks up that first kill onto No Smite. No barriers, of course, available, so it was easy pickings. And Taimu grabs Gilly as well. This could be the opportunities. Bebe gets the res on 2. And that's going to even out the score. Massive double with the self-destruct. And EnVyUs say that they don't mind. Effect, in fact, celebratorily kills himself. It's because they think that they've got this point. It's ticked at least past the first, and Bebe's going to fall down. This should be it for EnVyUs.
And they drop down just because they understand the point will be given up here and they want to reset on point B. It's a good time to die if you are the Mercy and Soldier in that spot, but still a good delay. They actually took away 3 minutes 20 of the bank. Only 4 minutes 40 left here for EnVyUs on the second point. They've got part of the Talon comp, but no sign of the Reaper yet. And we saw that pre-match highlight of back when Harry Hook was on Reaper duty in previous seasons. Somehow I think he's going to stick on Lucio, as he's actually picked and taken down by Timeboy on this first attack.
Unfortunately, he does have that
look at that tracking.
As well.
That was beautiful, Atlas.
It certainly was. Godspeed's going to be taken out there as Effect recalls, gets all of his health back and should be fine. Barry is here to try and buy some defense, but Timeboy finds Taimu in the backline for himself. X6 doing well at the same time.
Effect is so damn good at tracking on Tracer. Takes down the unsuspecting Godsby on McCree in one rotation. Godsby couldn't even look to throw a flashbang, was already dead. Stays alive after poking in the backline. Predictably has probably his 4,000th pulse bomb of the series so far. We're only on map 3.
Are you sure Effect didn't use attack visor, Papa Smithy?
I know the time he used the EMP.
He most certainly did. No barriers there available now, but he does get slapped. Oh no, that's Effect. Transcendence does come down as EnVyUs are using everything to try and get amongst this sound barrier there as well. Could have been staggered a little bit better potentially, and X6 are holding on. Harry Hook does get the kill onto the Winston, and Time Boy's going down low. Self-destruct is in there, buying space for X6.
So close to perfection on the EMP, but ended up trading overall rather than getting enough kills. Specifically the sound barrier. Gilly did not die, got low, finally popped the sound barrier to keep 4 alive, and then we're nowhere near the respawns being shortened by it being overtime. So the respawns came in. The respawners' advantage on Temple of Anubis has been complained about on Reddit so many times. Came into full effect there. They can reset, but EnVyUs so close to a snowball capture.
Yeah, Taimu does have another EMP though. It's sort of the standard Sombra thing, but after a fight, gonna have that one right back up again as Effect. Relegated to frontline duty here for the moment, gets himself in the back now. We'll see whether he is going to have Taimu there to help out, and he gets the pick onto Godsby as well, so good start. Now he's looking for it, does have the invisibility, but holds on to that EMP. Pulse Bomb softens up that mech and does eventually get the kill onto it as well with the help of Taimu. Time Boy here as well, he's gonna fall down. Taimu doing a heck of a lot of work on this Sombra, still has the EMP as he goes invisible now, looking for a target. Massive triple with the self-destruct!
And you get a lot of percentage here, at least one checkpoint now, as the respawns are going to be considerable. Finally coming in from X6, that's 2 checkpoints. Can anyone even get on the point?
How did he even do that without an EMP to help out, Papa Smithy? That was amazing. Hacks are coming in now from Taimu. He throws out the EMP because he thinks that he wasn't even going to have to use it. And that is going to be the cap on Temple of Anubis for EnVyUs.
Feels like we're harkening back to Mickey coming in Season 1 after Tailspin left the team and getting so many kills on the D.Va before D.Va was kind of found out. It felt like for a couple of weeks their self-destruct was casually picking up triples left, right, and center. But Mickey seemed to catch people unawares. She didn't have the exact observation there. Hopefully we get a play of the game or a replay of that to see where exactly it was launched. But man, it got a lot of value, getting both supports and the DPS as well. That's the sort of game-winning play after X6 was so disciplined with their very innovative Widowmaker focus comp. You know, going for the Widowmaker with the Orisa, and then a bit of dive as well. It's not a comp we've seen before, but one trying to take advantage of the Orisa buffs. Full completion is there. 1 minute 47 is on a massive time bank, but given how many times we've seen Temple of Anubis either not be full captured or captured in overtime, you'll take what you can get. As here's the replay. So they sees the support, jams it down low. You get to see it a second time, so jams it down low. They tried to back away, but they just weren't in position.
Oh, wow. And actually thinking that backing into the spawn doorway was going to be enough, but it stopped next to that pillar, and that means that you are dead.
Hooray for burst damage, right? Doesn't matter. The moment that you're in line of sight there. They'll feel hard done by to X6, but they have to shake it off because they got 2 points to capture. As EnVyUs, surprising, remember, they only had 440 when they approached that second point, so less than 3 minutes to capture point B on Temple of Anubis when you don't get it on first attempt. Should be complimented.
Yeah, feels good as Taimu just wants to hack this so badly.
I mean, the timing is actually really relevant. We've seen a lot of creative hacking where you, as the enemies spawn, hack on the right side and then translocate her over to second to either kind of cut your losses between if the enemy chooses to go left or right, or full capture one, as Godsby's opening on the Widowmaker again.
Yeah, it's going to be a warning shot right into the D.Va.
Effect one, predictably, the Tracer battle.
Yeah, he just gets better and better as the series progresses.
It's a fine wine, Atlas.
Oh, yes. He is certainly Barossa Valley Shiraz, something like that, for an Australian reference there. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
I need to find space for Godsby, who, for now, has actually been parked on low ground.
Well, No Smite's going to be able to grab the Goomba Stomp kill onto Effect. That's definitely good news.
No pressure onto Godsby. So for now, he's at least zoning them off the point. Ana doesn't even want to poke her head out.
Certainly can't, actually. Godsby really keeping him pinned.
It's the sort of stuff we saw from EnVyUs previously on Kings Row, where they were very disciplined with staying out of sight lines and also controlling the cart.
Okay, wow, that Discord Orb not quite enough, as there's the kill. Effect easily takes down Godsby, who had absolutely no health, but that doesn't seem to matter. The front line now dead on the side of EnVyUs and X6, looking to try and make their mark. Shoyobin takes down Chips, but Harryhook and Taimu have at least traded back for the supports. Effect on the respawn is going to come in and once again take down that Tracer battle, but No Smite just feels unstoppable. He's so incredibly low though, and that's Effect also falling down, but his recall timing is impeccable as usual and doesn't even need the Pulse Bomb.
Harryhook even opened on the Soldier, which we didn't mention, but it's a pretty common thing. So a Lucio-less comp from EnVyUs, one of the few teams to do that. Godsby's controlling the checkpoint right now. EnVyUs needs to look for a formation to contest this.
Yeah, hopping back onto the Soldier and really making this one work. As Mickey jumps forward. Okay, looks like this will be the cap.
Wait, here we go, Soldier.
Yeah, Tac Visor comes in. Shoyobin is going to be demacked, but there's the sound barrier, and that's going to mean that the Soldier is most certainly dead.
And they're desynced quite a lot here. It's actually going to go straight on to point B.
Yeah, looking for it. Okay, barrier does go down as Coco's going to get this pulse bombed. It's Godsby that falls down to Effect's one, though, on the back side.
And now they have to pull out. So they looked for the snowball capture because they had 3 dead, the team EnVyUs, but X6 have to pull out the moment that Godsby is the first one to fall. I want to talk a little bit about these Lucio-less comps because EnVy is the only team to really experiment with this. They have the lowest percentage of Lucio, probably in pro play right now, but definitely in Apex. Only 76% for a hero that has 92% selection in Apex and even higher in some other tournaments. Usually it's defense on Kings Row, for example, where Harryhook has always flexed the Soldier. But doing it in this scenario on Temple of Anubis is something different. Relying on the healing from the hacked health packs and that healing station.
Well, Godsby's going to be able to take down Effect here as he throws down the Tac Visor. EMP comes in. That's going to mean Mickey falls as well, but the self-destruct is going to be able to pick up the Zenyatta somehow. Mickey just seems to find all of the kills.
5 for 1.
Comes in from Time Boy. And this could be it. X6 on the attack. They're trying to hold this one. They've already got 1 tick. Make that 2 as it's ticking back up. EnVyUs trying to get onto the point as Taimu is here. Harryhook down very, very low. Gets that Wraith form out, but more time is being bought.
And a boost put down already. They're trying for the defense, but 2 already dead. Tracking the Visit's Wraith form here with the nano boost. Reaper hasn't got any value yet, but has to drop off again and can't do anything. Can't contest the point. And an even faster capture for X6.
Yeah, we thought that EnVyUs really had the quick cap. X6 answering back so well. And their attack on Temple of Anubis has improved exponentially, Papa Smithy, since the first time we saw them.
Didn't need to involve the Sombra at all. EnVyUs went creative for their defense, but honestly, so did X6, we remember, with the Orisa Widowmaker. This time, it wasn't Kings Row. It was actually on the Temple of Anubis. They went high on the DPS defense, having Harryhook on the Soldier, but it didn't pay off. Not like the Widowmaker was the one to punish it, but eventually, on the second attempt, they were able to push in, and apparently X6 liked what they were running in the first map. They delayed so much, and with only 1 minute 47 left, Bebe pops onto the Mei, boosts up the Orisa, and we'll go back and change.
Well, only 1 minute 47 for EnVyUs to try and cap this one out in comparison to the 4.5 minutes that X6 will have when it's their turn to attack.
And this is definitely Godsby being ultra set up to win the Widowmaker battle. Taimu loves opening Widowmaker on attack on Temple of Anubis, but when you have a barrier and a Pocket Mercy, you're pretty much set up to succeed.
Yes. Well, you certainly can't just shoot through that barrier with the first go, so Shoyobin will just chuck that one down, and it's absolutely fine.
33% reduction in barrier is very significant.
Yeah, that's huge.
People looked at the damage and they thought that was big. It's not, as the barrier's still there, Taimu, sorry.
Just scouting the comp there as well, so still useful, kind of like a Sonic Arrow would be, but he still has to waste some time to get back into that spawn as he heads once again out on this Sombra. Effect going down low, but eventually uses the recall.
He's traditionally been winning these Tracer battles, which can be so significant when it comes to scouting out the right side of the attack on Temple of Anubis.
No Smite taking some decent damage there, but Godsby's going to take down Chips. Harryhook's going to go as well. And EnVyUs not going to be able to continue this push without any of their utility.
The fact that Effect couldn't win the battle between Traces means they haven't been able to contest the Widowmaker like they could before, so it's been largely just free shots for Godsby.
Yeah, Hack does come in though. Now Godsby still looking for these picks. They can't quite find the targets, however. That's going to be Mickey looking to get rid of him. Does find the kill, and EnVyUs storming through on this first point. Is this going to be the opportunity now as Cherubin with this big Gatling gun? It's just going to fall down.
Buying time was the best you could hope to do. De-meching Mickey, not going to be a big win either. Some kills traded on the side as somehow Gilly takes out Timer without a boot. That's interesting, but EnVyUs want more. They're going to be going for the same sort of snowball capture. They only got 55 seconds in their bank.
Effect looking to go down this left side through the catacombs once again.
Good ult lead here for Team EnVyUs. They should have Transcendence very soon. That's the big one. Doesn't require an eco push, just a headshot. Basically instant procket here for Chips, as we will have that everyone's a Sombra situation I talked about. Well, when you don't have much of a time bank, why not go for a hero that has instant impact and also can very often have the EMP at a drop of the hat?
Yeah, almost twice in a team fight, Pop Smithy.
It's all about the Transcendence usage here, you'd think, for EnVyUs. There's no support ultimates up for X6. Long way away for Lucio, who shouldn't have it unless we have the mother of all contests in overtime. 10 seconds. Another reason EnVyUs is waiting is they want this fight to happen in overtime so that the respawns won't come through.
Timer's invisible.
Transcendence popped.
Yeah, there's an opportunity now for the EMP, but doesn't throw it down. There it is! Going to break all of these barriers. Effect throws in the pulse bomb, picks up the mech, and that could be good enough here. As Godsby, just going to stun and destroy. See you later, Effect, as he's really trying to run around on this Cowboy, but eventually falls. No smite here as well, but that health bar is rapidly decreasing, and Coco is just going to punch him in the head.
You can see EnVyUs forced off. There's no way for them to fully contest. Running low on numbers. Nice boop as well. And they just about do it to X6-Gaming. I like what EnVyUs tried. They were cognizant of needing the Transcendence and also wanting to abuse the fact that, sure, capping in overtime means you have no time bank, but we're not going to go to 5 and 6 captures, you'd have to think. So the big story there was if you attack with a big ult advantage in overtime, the respawns are much longer after the patch a couple of months ago, and you're more likely to pull off the full complete. Had the Transcendence, led with it, not quite enough just at the last, and X6 have a very realistic goal. They need to get 1 point and then take 1 checkpoint of the second point B.
And they've got a heck of a lot of time to do it as well in 4.5 minutes.
More than you start with.
Yes. Ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. They still have to do it though. EnVyUs once again going for some Prince of Persia fun times.
EnVyUs will not be running the Widowmaker on defense this time. Taimu's been dissuaded off it. Does mean that Godsby will find some squishies to take down. No triple tank or any other hijinks here to buy time for EnVyUs.
Yeah, not going for any sort of defensive triple support as well, which is something that we have seen a fair bit.
Basically, they're running standard that works against anything because they can't really prey upon a weakness, do a rock, paper, scissors, and lose on first attack. If they lose on first attack, this map is probably done for Team EnVyUs.
Yeah. So playing it safe. Godsby gonna throw out an opening volley, but doesn't find anyone. I think you're just gonna soak that
pop
one.
up.
Yeah.
Sightlines as usual, well held, although.
Okay, Godsby actually taking some fire here, so the Widow not quite able just to get the pot shots that he's looking for. Good defense so far from EnVyUs, not losing anyone with anything too early on, and Godsby actually getting taken down very, very low.
Here's Coco.
Yeah, it's going to jump all the way up.
He actually is taken down.
Yeah, Cherubin is going to be able to pick up that kill. Opportunity now for X6 to continue pushing forward.
And nice stuff from Diva and Zenyatta, basically peeling in some ways for the Widowmaker, punishing Coco for jumping up. Timer's dead as well. It's 6v4.
Yeah, he's been headshotted. Now Timeboy just having a field day on the point. Godsby as well, getting picks left, right, and center. Effect. He's the only one that's been able to really get anything, but X6 still have 5 members. They're sitting on this point, and this is going to be a massive amount of time to move forward onto point 2 if they can complete this. And it looks like they will be able to. Timeboy still just harassing Effect.
1 HP for Effect, finally taken down. The Tracer battle wasn't going to be consequential, but this time is won by Timeboy, and now the time bank, it's massive.
Oh yeah. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. When at this point, last time around for EnVyUs, it was about 13 seconds that they had moving to this next point.
A couple of different ways you can approach this for X6. They have some ultimates. They used the one from Godspeed. He will switch if they don't get it on this particular attack, given that Widowmaker drops off in terms of efficiency, unless she pops off in a very impressive way, and there's no pressure on the Widow.
Yeah, as Coco's going to once again come in and try and do what he can. Godspeed does get a sound barrier to help him out. No Smite gets rid of Coco. Effect is going to be harassing this backline. Bebe falls to that. Oh, God! That was incredible. Godspeed gets the pick onto Harry Hook. Self-destruct comes in from EnVyUs, and Chips throws down his EMP. Good damage onto Timeboy to stop that harassment in the back.
Really nice turnaround here from EnVyUs. They are only able to fight on the point. They can't be tricky because they only have one checkpoint to defend, and that's why you see a bit of more beef invested in. Chips will be flexing onto the Sombra, but Taimo is now on Widowmaker, and it's talent comp time, you'd have to think. First step of it coming through from Godspeed. Still no Sombra, surprisingly. I can't imagine that we won't see a change soon. Maybe after the Transcendence is down, Bebe will flex over.
Yeah. Could be an opportunity. Taimo's going to switch back to the McCree, actually, as he was on the Roadhog.
There's a lot of mind games here because he had shown the Roadhog already. He's predicting that there's going to be a swap to take advantage of triple tank, and thus he flexes himself.
Smite taking a lot of damage here. As Taimo throws his revolver through. Oh, Godspeed! He's going to force out the Transcendence there from X6. As Taimo, decent position now, but he's well and truly off the point. Sound barrier from EnVyUs tries to keep them alive as Godspeed falls down. No Reaper to build any of that ultimate, only has 25%.
They're so close to the capture!
Oh, wow. But it is going to be EnVyUs taking control once again at this point, and that is going to tick back down. Oh my God, you're right, Papa Smithy. I didn't actually see that. And X6 really did have a taste of victory in their mouth.
Holy crap, it was so close. You could see some yellow in that white line trying to cover the first checkpoint. Couldn't quite do it.
Did you say it was a peach color, something like that?
It was looking peachy. For X6, not so much for EnVyUs, but they repel it, and of course, all the progress is now worked down. So X6 get another chance to... Remember, they don't actually change Bebe away as Chips is pushing forward.
Yeah, Godspeed actually almost falling down there as well. That could have been a huge deal. As Chips gets the focus, he's going to recall his way back. Translocate, sorry, not to get confused.
Timeboy is on that Sombra, so farming up Godspeed to get his ultimate is the big factor. Very difficult to get because you need to get in close proximity to do any damage as a Reaper. Thus, he is getting no percentage, just firing those cannons away at long range.
Well, whoever gets the right EMP, it's going to be quite important here as everyone does jump on the point on the side of X6. There's the EMP from Chips as they're trying to do what they can. Sound barrier from X6 because the EMP wasn't quite in the right position. X6 lose two. This is actually going to be won by EnVyUs to start things off, but Mickey eventually falls down. Remember, they only need to get one tick on this point, but Choyobin now creates a body on this. Still, no meterage to be found.
Transcendence comes down. They really want to push it. Hack onto Choyobin. Still hasn't fallen. Now will be demeched.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Taimo, he's reaping havoc on the backline as well. Chips was the one to get rid of that mech. Choyobin is going to be still alive, though, as Primal Rage gets rid of Taimo. Effect gets rid of BB, though. And Harry Hook's doing work on the backline as well. Godspeed, I mean, it's only going to be Mickey's mech, and have EnVyUs done it? Held this one off against X6. On the final point.
We're trying to evaluate so many alive from EnVyUs. You'd have to think they might have finally done it. This would actually force an overtime map. We're going to actually have to have a decider. It's going to be even if we don't see that checkpoint come in for X6.
It's such a long time since we've seen this. It just shows both of these teams are so incredibly hungry. Another EMP flies out as this overtime continues to get ticked over and over again, but it's getting ever more difficult as it's just a shooting gallery provided by X6 and EnVyUs do get the hole.
That's insane. So for the first time in a long time, we will have a tiebreaker. If you guys haven't watched long enough to remember those, it will just be a single control point map. We only have control once in our best of 5.
Yeah,
usually it is just those
again,
3 maps, but having an extra map here is going to be something different. Really valiant job by EnVyUs, especially with how fast the first capture was. We get information that will be Lijiang Tower. It's going to be that control point.
I was half expecting it to be Oasis, Papa Smithy. So I feel like we always need a bit of Oasis. There's always hope for our next series.
EnVyUs worked so hard up the instant cap to be able to fight back with a huge time back. 3 minutes 40 denied onto point B.
It almost felt like an EnVyUs victory as we moved into that last defense from EnVyUs just because they did have so much to work through.
It feels like a victory, but one control point could be the difference. And if you remember,
So
control
far
was
it's 2-0, yeah.
1-2-1, so it's 2-0, yep. So interesting stuff here, going to Lijiang Tower. First time in a while. We might be going long. This series that we thought would be pretty triumphant for EnVyUs is turning into a real war.
Yeah, it's really getting hot. But remember, there's still much more to play as the teams are tied up on Control and Hybrid. So moving to Lijiang Tower, who is going to be able to win this tiebreak to really move us forward from Assault?
On Night Market, on Lijiang Tower, it's just a best of one. We, of course, run best of three compared to most tournaments doing best of five. But when it is a tiebreaker, it's just that best of one on Night Market. And you're right, it does feel like a win because of what they had to fight back from.
Yeah.
But that feeling will go and erode so quickly if they are pipped here on Night Market and all their hard work to keep the stalemate alive will be gone.
And it doesn't feel as evenly matched when X6 just looked so good on Control when we first saw them.
Mickey's still having fun, still playing around with his alternative heroes.
What do you mean? Torbjorn is full meta.
He can't play around with Orisa anymore because Orisa is meta, we've already learned.
Yeah, haha.
We don't know how much meta, but at least a little bit meta.
It's like, I mean, what are your options now if you want to really troll with your hovers?
Symmetra.
Is it Symmetra?
It is.
I was gonna say Symmetra, but she has been meta before, you know.
And until proven otherwise, Hanzo is still a troll pick. Timer's opening on Widowmaker, looking for a first pick here. Very respectful from X6. They're waiting for information because they know that Timer can potentially go this way.
Well, in effect, he's still doing some work here as he is
Timer
looking for
gets
that
Gilly
pick. Oh my
and
god,
Godspeed.
make that too. Yeah, exactly right. The picks are there, but Timeboy eventually finishes him off. It's EnVyUs with the man advantage, though. It's only tanks left on the side of X6, and Choyobin losing a lot of his health on this mech. Effect gets rid of him. That's going to be the kill, and EnVyUs should be able to get this first capture.
Yeah, so much time was invested to actually take out Timer. By the time they did, they'd lost too much collateral. The tanks and the Tracer able to dash onto the point, Effect the first to have Pulse Bomb. And going for the trump card, X6 went super standard. Soldier and Tracer they opened up with. Now Godspeed jumps onto the Genji to potentially deal with Timer. But standard was well preyed upon by Team EnVyUs.
Yeah, that's going to be Coco picking up the kill on a no-smite with the help of Timu there as well. He's still looking for these picks in the backline. Bebe survives for the moment, but Choyobin's doing work. Gilly as well. As X6, they've lost 2 and traded for 2 on the side of EnVyUs. Things still going okay, but it's a fantastic boop onto Mickey that gets rid of him. Timu picks up Timeboy. That's a difficult shot.
And Timu keeps provoking positioning mistakes from the side of X6-Gaming. Everyone that dinks their head out to try to deal with the Widowmaker is being collapsed upon, largely by the Diva and Tracer on the side of Team EnVyUs, and they've already ticked up to 50% here, Envy.
Yeah, the captain really holding his team together on the Widowmaker. We mentioned that he mentioned that the McCree and Widowmaker will be making an appearance. Looking impressive this time around on Lijiang Tower as Effect throws down a Pulse Bomb, picks up the kill under Bebe. Exactly right. Godspeed, though, is going to be able to get some revenge for his support. Self-destruct comes in, not going to find any of the luck that Mickey was looking for there as Timu's going to fall. Choyobin cleans that one up. We might have a retake here, possibly from X6, but Mickey is going to answer. Gets the kill in a Gilly there as No Smite gets rid of Chips. Just feels like the supports are falling left, right, and center, but it doesn't quite change these fights' outcomes because it's so messy.
But they're still being delayed. The percentage has been ticking up for a long time there as the darting in and out of the point means that 89% on their first capture for Team EnVyUs. X6, the one thing you can say, they have a big ult economy to be used for defense, but those ults don't really do much against Timu unless they're really investing Transcendence and the Dragon Blade to push out and shut him down.
Yeah, unless you can predict an instant headshot or something like that. As Chips is going to pick up BB. Sound barrier
dies with Transcendence up.
A little bit too late on the sound barrier as well to keep his teammate alive, and Gilly is going to fall, so it didn't do anything. Godspeed's trying to do what he can, but Harry Hook is going to be the one to take him down. Dragon Blade finds nothing, and EnVyUs looking to get the retake at 90% and win the assault and bring this to set point for EnVyUs.
That pick onto Bebe changed the fight. They had so much ult economy, but it ends up being wasted. Has to Transcendence just to get on and contest.
And X6 are getting pushed out of this point as well. Coco picks up one, Effect grabs another. Self-destruct does absolutely nothing, but it doesn't seem to matter. Timeboy gets Taimu, but once again, he's brought so much pressure for his team, and EnVyUs are tearing X6 apart.
That's it.
The overtime's ticking down, and that's going to be EnVyUs securing the victory on Assault, in what was one of our longest Assault map victories that we have seen so far in Season 3.
And Overwatch very often rewards the bold. It's no longer Season 2 where you can run triple tank into triple tank. The team that gets creative usually gets a big advantage. Way back on the actual Assault map, on Temple of Anubis, that was the Orisa Widowmaker Mercy comp that was run by X6. But fast forward to Night Market, Taimu took a risk. He jumped onto the Widowmaker. The opening salvos and all the resources from X6 to shut him down ended up being wasted because they were being caught as they looked for the shots onto the Widowmaker, and then a single takedown onto Bebe after they got 90% of the point. X6 controlled it. They had ults. You thought, okay, this could be them getting their percentage closer and closer to what they need. But dying with Transcendence up, being headshot, meant that he couldn't stay alive. They took down the rest, and now the tactical pause is needed because that was a very, very long assault phase because of the tiebreaker. And now they need to steady because suddenly it's match point, Team EnVyUs.
Yeah, X6 really need to make some adjustments. They're the ones that called this tac pause, and I'd almost respect it from the coaches if it was just to give their team members a rest, because that, as far as Overwatch is concerned, was a long time to be playing, and because it's such high intensity as well, you really do need to try and chill out. You can see the faces of X6, they're feeling comfortable still, but a lot of pressure is now on them, Papa Smithy, to perform on our escort map of choice.
Interestingly, the best escort map for most in recent times, both these teams, is Dorado. So we'll see if they maybe buck the trend and go somewhere different, because Envy 1-0 on Dorado and X6 2-1. They've played almost all their escort maps that we've seen since Challenger. They've played 4, and 3 of them have been Dorado. So Dorado has been definitely the consensus pick here. Was not a map available during the Contenders tournament, but has been the map of choice so far in Apex Season 3. A lot of smiles from the side of Team EnVyUs.
Yeah, Kai there as well. Looking actually relieved after that assault map. Now, of course, understandably, because they are moving towards set point. And
From what I'm told, the air conditioning's better in the booth, so maybe it's just like, oh, it's much nicer in here.
I like to think that he's there to support his team, Papa Smithy.
I don't know, man. No, Kaikai's done some great work. The scouting so far has been good. The Widowmaker usage, which predictable from the side of Taimu, wasn't sussed out by X6. They didn't seem to have a complete strategy to shut it down, but Widowmaker on Night Market is always a bit of a surprise, given expectations.
Certainly liked it out of Taimu, though. We'll see whether the surprises continue, because otherwise it's been a lot of relatively standard 2-2-2 dive compositions coming out of Envy.
No surprise there, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be... Calling it dive also is a bit of a misnomer. Sure, they have a Tracer messing in the background, but they don't have a Genji
They don't
player.
have the Genji,
You normally need the Genji. Sure, Winston and Tracer are doing their bit, but never going to be full dive from the side of Envy, especially compared to a team like Combox Spirit. And usually Luxury Watch Blue, when we see them, we're not actually sure they'll be running Flower or Pine in that match, and that usually does affect that identity a little bit. Both of them can play Genji, though, so...
Yep,
good
to know that Flower's wrist is repaired, so it will be by choice which one of them is going to be coming in. I believe Flower's going to be starting, but that is still up to the choice of the team. We'll see who it's going to be. But that is our next series, and this one, it's X6 desperately trying to bring us to a 5th game in our final hybrid map. They have to get through Escort first, and they have to make up their minds on which one of those maps they're going to choose as well.
Route 66, a possibility. Dorado, the percentage choice, but for both teams, just kind of puts a big question mark.
Yeah.
And Gibraltar's always sparing, but we might actually see it in our second series, since Luxury Watch Blue took a likening to it in their first series against Combox Spirits. So first question, what will be this potential match point map choice for Escort for the side of X6-Gaming?
If they've been seeing the media, they are aware that Mickey's favorite map is Gibraltar, so it's not likely that they picked that one.
I'm surprised by your restraint so far, Atlas. You haven't said Jibby yet.
I don't need to. I trust the chat to get the Jibbies in for me.
I feel like that meme's been replaced by another one, but I forget it as we speak.
Certainly hope so. Wait, how can you forget it, Papa Smithy?
I don't know. It's a beautiful coincidence.
Oh, well, I'll track you memeing over the rest of the series.
Oh, let's just kill this meme with fire. It is going to be Dorado, so we're going to go with the Apex mascot when it comes to these escort maps. Both of them have found success, but I feel like X6 chose Comfort. As we said, 3 out of 4 times on the OGN stage that they played escort, they went Dorado. They have a winning record on it. Go for the Comfort. You're going to need it because the backs are against the wall.
Certainly are. Last time we saw this was the first series out of EnVyUs. Of course, they haven't had to play an escort map since then, having 3-0 victories every single other time.
Much more common. It's Choyobin's heroics against Runaway on Dorado that allowed them to beat Runaway, holding onto the cart so much as it pushed on to point B. So really interesting stuff here, and it could be all she wrote for Series 1.
Yeah, so set point for EnVyUs. See whether they can do it as we head to Dorado.
I get it.
Okay, feeling a little bit more even, Papa Smithy. Everyone getting behind their teams. Some more desperation on the side of X6, though, as they need to win this to bring us to the deciding map. Whichever one that is out of the hybrids, it won't be Kings Row, as EnVyUs have already found a victory on that one the first time around.
And we'll talk about all the possible permutations about choice in that regard later. Right now we will evaluate the defense from EnVyUs.
Ooh, as it is going to be once again the Lucioless composition.
Harry Hook on the Zenyatta, but Chips on his famous Ana, so not as much Sombra from Chips today as Taimu stole that away. What a meanie.
Ha!
I guess he's a Sombra main.
Well, Chips has, I mean, he played it on Temple of Anubis for a bit, and he did look very good, so they've been sharing. There's been a lot of sharing in the MV.
When you see a Lucioless comp, it's very much about defending one position. You don't have the same ability to dart around, and your tanks especially are going to be more exposed now. Winston and D.Va already have a lot of mobility, so they do free up something like a Lucioless comp, as Effect will just stare at the beach and think about life a bit.
And No Smite has the best. I feel like Junkrat
No Smite's on
What
Junkrat.
the heck? Okay, never mind. We're going for the attack Junkrat.
Yeah. This is really good at static defenses, which when you don't see a Lucio, Junkrat can be very strong. So another curveball, not one I was expecting for today.
Did they seriously snipe that composition that quickly, Papa Smithy? Or had they done their homework just that well on the side of X6? Mickey's going to get the first kill, though, onto Gilly. Maybe they've tried a little bit too hard with the fanciness, but No Smite says no as Mickey loses the mech. And now X6 are fighting back on the attack.
You have to be so careful here when you're against a Junkrat that's spam, and the zone control he pulls off can be massive, and we're not in the meta with Zarya being able to just bubble up and get full charge from the Junkrat. You're never going to be opening with a Zarya on defense on this map anymore, and they're getting significant meterage and forcing EnVyUs to react as we have a pause.
EnVyUs are like, who even is that hero?
I mean, Taimu loves playing it in solo queue.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, may have just assumed that it was banned and competitive because we haven't seen it for so long, Papa Smithy.
Somewhere, some of our famous Junkrat enthusiasts like Seagull are smiling.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited because, of course, Australian pride here on the desk and now on Dorado as well.
We don't have the double, though. We need the Roadhog Junkrat attack for, I don't know what your team comp's doing, but it's got a lot of Aussies in it.
Yeah, it feels like Mad Max.
2 Aussies on the desk, 2 Aussies in the game. That should be how it works,
That should be how it works, exactly. In fact, everyone should be running Junkrat Roadhog. Just let them know. There are 2 Australians on the desk, guys. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So, Pause going to be running down again.
No Smite, who we have the perspective of. Doesn't have ult first because Chips already has it. Pops the Nano.
Yeah, Effect is going to be able to grab the pick onto Bebe as well. Time Boy picks off Harry Hook, so they trade Zenyatta's.
Here's the Riptire. Doesn't get anything.
A little bit unfortunate. It was exciting, though, wasn't it, Papa Smithy?
You can't help but get pumped. We don't get any Junkrat in Apex.
Oh, damn right.
Or anywhere. Spam so far is still good. He's managed to zone them away. It was only a couple left from Envy after the first kills, and now EnVyUs are just, they feel like they want a tactical pause right now to be like, wait, how do we deal with Junkrat?
Yeah, exactly.
He went to contest the high ground, but had to drop down, did no smite. Chips will get a lot of nano boost this game because just like Zarya shield, there's a lot of junk damage, I guess you call it, or just useless damage is perhaps the better thing to say that comes through. So healers get their ult very fast when Junkrat's in the game.
Taimu controlling this high ground nicely, has himself the tack visor. Godsby's going to pick off effect, so...
X6 do not have a comp to contest the high ground. They can only really shoot damage up there, or no smite can pop up and potentially die instantly with 200 HP. So it's a lot about just firing damage up top and waiting for the side of Envy to drop down, because X6 are very much a cart defense system, not a high ground defense system. Unless...
Oh, not going to quite find the stick there as Transcendence does come out. X6 do have the sound barrier, but Gilly's taken out with the tack visor from Taimu. It runs out in the end as X6 invest the Transcendence there as well, just to hold on to this cart.
Somehow Reinhardt was actually on the high ground. He drops down again.
Okay, interesting one. Godsby, though, is going to get the headshots that he needs onto Taimu.
D.Va does contest the cart for a bit, so it won't be approaching the corner as early as it could have. One final defense is going to be possible for Team EnVyUs. Riptire available. It's going to be used again.
Havoc, yeah.
He's going to do some climbing.
Oh, Harry Hook going to be taken down as he boosts himself up here as well. Taimu has to run away, but Godsby picks up a tack visor kill. Shoyobin there as well on this Reinhardt, tearing people up, and Timeboy, this is looking insane from X6. I don't know how this is working.
They're 4 minutes 50 going into the power plant. Don't even need to contest the high ground with all the spam. The spam from the left clicks doing the work for them, trying to chase down Mickey. No one's tanky against Junkrat.
And No Smite we need to change this text, Papa Smithy.
I mean, EnVyUs are trying everything. They have Harry Hook finally onto Lucio for the first time, but it is already on point C. As the time bag is insanely large for X6.
Yeah, power plant, difficult one to push through as they're just going to casually wander away from that pulse bomb.
Who knew that No Smite, who played 97% of his time, that's a big Earth Shatter.
Yeah, massive. Pulse bomb's going to take down Chips there as well as Taimu. He's going to fall. No Smite actually grabs him with the remote bomb. Cherubin doesn't find the pin onto anyone. It doesn't seem to matter though, as X6 in so much control this particular map. It looks like Game 5 is well and truly in their sights.
Already rounding the final bend. This Winston main flexing onto the Junkrats, doing all the work.
And Cherubin, the D.Va main on this Reinhardt, is looking brilliant as well. This might just continuing to deliver what he can. EnVyUs finally grabbing a couple of kills as Riptire does nothing. EnVyUs... Okay, so the cart stops moving, Papa Smithy. X6 still have 3.5 minutes.
And they can also mix it up. You're not going to stick with the Junkrat when the cart is so far forward. They would basically need Reinhardt to inch him forward, and then the dive from the defense would find them in so many different ways. But we just kind of have to take a step back and smile about triple DPS, a player that was 97% Winston, jumping onto the attack Junkrat. And as you say, Choyobin, who's been D.Va only for the majority of his career, jumping onto the Reinhardt, making so much work happen, and now they can just go standard.
Yeah, now they're going to get the first pick as well as Bebe grabs Harry Hook. It's a huge deal as they throw down their sound barrier. Attack visor there as well as X6 have a bunch of ultimates that they can use. 3 picks already, make that 4 as the cart continues to move forward. Sound barrier from EnVyUs, but Harry Hook, he's the only man standing. That's the team wipe, and that's going to be the full push from X6.
One of the most innovative offensive rounds we have seen in so long in Apex. On defense, we get the crazy. You think back to Luxury Watch Blue, whether it was their Body Shot, Widowmaker comp, or their triple support comp, but a flex that no one could have seen coming. The sort of thing where Winston's lab gives you no research information because No Smite, jumping onto the Junkrat on offense, got them point A and point B on first attempt, and he finally died for the first time, just, 10 meters away from the end, jumped onto Winston. The comp was prepared for a lot of things, but not for the super standard that X6 turned over. And now suddenly EnVyUs, who probably were thinking, okay, we got over our hump, 3-1. 3-1's looking a long way away, Atlas.
Yeah, 3-2's looking like it's almost what you hope for this time, because that's a huge time bank in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. EnVyUs certainly an opportunity to push like that as well, but will they do it with an innovative composition once again. I'm not entirely sure. It's looking like triple tank on the defense for X6 though.
Seen it before. Was always the standard defense on Dorado point A.
Means that they at least still have one Australian.
That's true. We never got the duo, but we'll take the one.
Yep.
Usually the way this plays is that unlike EnVyUs, who are playing up at the position where you see, trying to fight because they had no Lucio to reposition, you usually fight after the archway as triple tank, so you give a bit more free meterage to the attacking team before your triple tank can really have the right angles to take advantage of the position. But now they'll poke around, but they will drop back, put up a Reinhardt shield, and try and make it work.
Make a stand, as it were.
Well, they made a stand. They made an impression, at least, that's for sure.
Oh, well,
on
yes.
attack.
Now it's about the defensive game and whether X6 can put a plug in EnVyUs' momentum.
Now, dive was always the thing that undid triple tank, but EnVyUs, if you know one thing about them, is that they never fully commit to dive, so that's why X6 feel like against this opponent, triple tank can possibly be the way.
Well, it is going to be triple tank versus triple tank as EnVyUs. They move over to a Roadhog at their own. Taimu, he's going to pick that one up. Not going to be on the McCree like Godsby is.
In the past, Taimu spent 50% of Season 2 on Roadhog, but big adjustment this season was Roadhog largely dropping out, especially for EnVyUs. Here's the hook.
Yeah, it is going to be onto Coco though, so he's probably okay with being in the front line. This Timeboy's going to grab himself a drink and continue to throw these shotgun pellets right in, but maybe it's pushed far enough here from EnVyUs to break through. They've traded at least a mech in, but Taimu grabs a kill. Effect gets a pulse bomb down so early in this fight. Godsby sort of getting things off the back end, but Effect is going to bully him out of there.
In much more simple fashion, we're going to see the last second test to buy a second.
It was close, but no cigar.
Now, we could definitely see a very interesting second round of attack phases on Dorado. Would the double capture dream happen? It's like a double rainbow. We never see them, but the one time you do, you don't forget it, Atlas.
Oh, yeah. I just want X6 to go on attack on Dorado again. I just want to see what else they have planned for us.
Some Hanzo, maybe?
Yeah, is it the attack Torbjorn? Like, I don't know.
Torbjorn, Reinhardt, and Orisa just park the turret on the cart. Double shield, see what happens.
I just love how at the beginning I brought up, oh, Junkrat, the perfect one to be the troll pick.
And he wasn't trolling. He was going.
He was definitely not trolling.
The backline. Taimu mixing around as Chips has been caught, Mickey as well.
Well, they've invested the sound barrier and it's actually paying off for them as well. Half the members of EnVyUs have fallen. Chips, before he could even use his Transcendence, fell down. This could spell success for X6 on the defense.
When you dive like this, it kind of forces EnVyUs to reevaluate. They may even feel pressured enough to change over to Reinhardt to get back to the car, but it's so close to the spawn doors that for now, they won't do that as Effect wants to get in the back line and sniper support.
Well, Transcendence is going to be able to get them onto the card here as well, as they have all the rest of the ults. Whole hog going down from Taimu, as well as Mickey throws out the self-destruct looking for a target. Timeboy's in the back though. He's managed to take down Effect with a really nice stick on the pulse bomb, and Harry Hook booped Gilly off. Timeboy trades his life, and we've got kills traded left, right, and center. X6 holding on to ultimates nicely though. Yeah,
it's a big trade up for X6. They got the first couple of picks, and even though there was some answering, there's another case where Transcendence was used very early just to contest the cart. It timed out, and there were really no tools left for Team EnVyUs. So the delay has already happened. It was, what, 5:30, 5:40 as we got through point A, and now we've shaved 2 minutes off it with two good contests from X6. At some point, you do have to start giving some meterage, though, otherwise you will be preyed upon.
They just don't have the grenade launcher high ground harass, Pop Smithy. That's what they don't have.
You have Effect, though.
Yeah, he's not going to find the pulse bomb kill, but he at least gets everyone off here as Transcendence has to be invested from X6. Coco's picked up the kill under No Smite as well, but Chips has died. So what can they do? Godsby's here with attack visor. That's going to be 2 already. Make that 3 as Harry Hook eventually gets rid of him. But Gilly's going to get rid of Coco. Taimu falls down to Timeboy. And X6 once again, I mean, this is 3 holds in a row.
But EnVyUs really aren't giving Taimu much to work with. Usually when you have something like a McCree change and you need a Roadhog as well. As I'm just saying that point, Effect wins the Tracer battle very triumphantly, but Taimu wasn't getting any support on the McCree and was getting crushed and closed down upon, so he jumps over to the Soldier.
Oh, baby. In trouble, but Effect does recall his way back. Self-destruct is in there, and that's going to pick up Chips. Taimu actually jumped to his own death, unfortunately.
Free shooting.
Yeah.
No one's contesting the high ground, Atlas, like you were mentioning. They don't have a Grodog to do it. They don't have a Genji to do it. So for now, just shooting gallery for Godsby.
It was a well-played self-destruct, actually, meant that effect. Either had to commit to getting round that corner onto the high ground against multiple opponents or die to a self-destruct.
Timer's so far away from the tack visor. Switched to McCree, didn't really have a team comp for it. Now is on the soldier that fits the comp more. It's going to take time and eco pushes that. Time isn't really what EnVyUs has too much of. Effect.
That's going to be the pulse bomb. Picks up BB. He finally finds a Zenyatta and drops down for the kill onto Godsby. Effect taking this game into his own hands once again, like he's done so many times. Primal Rage.
Fine time.
Yeah, from NoSmite just to try and get people off this point. But Mickey, he's sitting himself on the cart. Defense Matrix is there as Timeboy has to be careful, but recalls his way back.
Even though this is a fight that will go the way of EnVyUs, the cart still has not moved, and that means the respawn is starting to come in.
Yep, self-destruct now from Mickey, how he jumps back into his mech.
But they have to use the self-destruct. They waste a lot of time. The respawns do come through from X6. Almost catch effect also. It does mean they will have a wholehearted contest before the end of point B because of all the time bought by the divers.
Yeah, double support ult plus the tack visor is a fantastic ult combo as well. Feeling good, RX6 on this last remaining.
We've seen some highlight plays from Effect so many times with the Pulse Bomb. This is going to have to be one of them, but with the Transcendence up, it's so damn hard.
Mickey's going to jump in. The Pulse Bomb is still in hand. Chips actually finds NoSmite. This is important. Godsby throws down the tack visor, but that's the Transcendence from EnVyUs, keeping his members alive. Godsby throws out a Helix Rocket and gets a kill on Timeboy as well. That is both supports dead. There's now Effect is going to come in, try and see what he can do. X6 members are dropping left, right, and center as Effect looks for the backhand kill. Doesn't quite get it, but Timeboy eventually falls down. There goes the mech from Choyobin.
Contesting the cart, but that's all they're really doing here. The respawn and the walk back is too far, hoping that the EnVyUs will use as much resources as possible. Some respawns do come in, but again, it's very smart to drop back here. They probably will have to give up point B.
Yeah, and the pseudo triple DPS on this push as well, as Chips is going to move over to the Sombra.
They're actually still contesting. Good job by Timeboy.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb comes in actually to buy some space to get the staggered run-throughs as Gilly's going to fall down, but Godsby grabs Effect. This could be important as the Primal Rage is there. We do have the EMP coming in from Chips. Try and get some work done, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be enough as X6 have at least bought enough time to get themselves some solidification. And NoSmite is smacking everyone around. Sound Barrier is able to be bought time for as well from Gilly.
The hack doesn't actually stop the ultimate from coming through. So Attack Visor was popped by Godsby. Taken out though, 3 picks, the final ones here. They take out the Diva and the Lucia to finally claim point B.
Yeah, we've got absolutely no space left to go as Timeboy, he recalls his way back onto the point. Effect grabs Gilly though, and makes it a double with the kill onto Timeboy, so they should be able to make it over here.
And X6 are so good at contesting just before point B. This is what frustrated Runaway. EnVyUs still do get it, but with a minute 20 in the time, like half of what X6 finished the map on, they get 1 push to do it. Mickey will have the self-destruct. Effect basically has permanent Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, that's just what he does. Recall comes in, doesn't find anyone with the Pulse Bomb.
And misses on that one. So we get to breathe for just a half a second, but we know the action's about to come in. Here's the leap in from NoSmite.
And Timeboy gets himself into the backline as well, trying to get some damage onto that mech.
Maybe dies with Transcendence up.
Yeah, Effect is able to get that kill nicely, but Timeboy is still here. He's got the Pulse Bomb ready. Tack Visor's available from Taimu as well, but X6 have a lot of ults available. Self-destruct comes down. Not sure whether it's going to be enough, though, as this is a lot of kills for EnVyUs to get this cart moving.
And now they have to really escort the cart and try to spawn camp. It's still going to be 6 members alive from X6 with ultimates. Bebe dying with his ult. May have wanted to hold on to it anyway for the last second contest, but this is that time, and watch for Chips' EMP.
Yeah, we're
looking for as many as possible. There it is. Yeah. Transcendence was used early, though, so it is available.
Yeah, throws that one out and isn't going to get cancelled, so Effect, he's able to pick up the first kill onto Godsby. That was nicely timed after the Transcendence, and X6 throws down the Sound Barrier. BB going low, he's going to get taken out, and EnVyUs looking to try and push this one up.
Winston's dead.
We are so close to overtime.
Both frontliners dead on the side of EnVyUs.
X6 still trying to do what they can, and they are picking up the kills now. Taimu and Effect both dead.
And
Chips as well. No DPS up as Godsby. There's the Tack Visor just to put the last nails in the coffin, and X6 looking to hold on and bring us to a game number 5.
We're going to map 5, Atlas. So much stall tactics that was successful for the side of X6, and innovation again is rewarded. Opening the Junkrat on attack from their Winston main. Completely caught EnVyUs by surprise. Basically instantly took point A and point B. And then the nature of time banks works when you're so good at contesting against Runaway and now against EnVyUs. Managing to take away 5.5 minutes. In this case, I think it's 550 time banks on point B. And that was so powerful in the delay factor. And suddenly, we're one hybrid map away from deciding who goes to the winner's bracket and who has to fight all the way through the loser's bracket.
Yeah, and it's so many more games as well. I mean, each time you lose, you still have to get those 2 victories. We are going to have the tack pause on the side of EnVyUs, though.
Mickey's still smiling.
Mickey's always smiling.
It's good to have someone like that on your team, but this is not a position that EnVyUs could have expected to find themselves. Remember, during the group draw, there was a double swap, and finally Taimu inherited pick 1. And he was so happy, he fell over himself going for X6. This was always the plan. We beat them in scrims. They're a team that we're going to comfortably take down. In the interview today, he said 3-0. The comfort factor's gone.
Oh, yeah.
I was alluding to the sweat. The sweat is really coming down now, regardless of any sort of air conditioning. Is EnVyUs have been kind of outmaneuvered. Some of these comps, the innovation has been the things that's really undone them, whether it was the Orisa comp or in this most recent time, the Junkrat comp. Those have been the times when EnVyUs haven't been able to adapt. So they may be forced to adapt one more time. But the first question is where to go on hybrid for them. Because as you say, King's Row is gone. So you have to start wondering where they'll visit, because there's a lot of other possibilities for them.
And when you're talking about can you adapt and things like that, I feel like you don't want to go anywhere near Hollywood if you're EnVyUs, because it has been one of those maps where adaptation is rewarded so effectively.
But you've kind of got a double-edged sword there, Atlas, because they're 2-0 on Hollywood this season. So that's been their comfort map. But is your comfort what you want, or is it actually what you're seeing unfold in front of your eyes? Because triple support was birthed on this map as we get to watch a bit of Junkrat as we continue to wax lyrical about the right choice. The moment you don't have Lucio to evacuate in that situation, the moment you have a static defense against the Junkrat is, well, the ults one is exciting as I hoped they would be, but we're showing them anyway, Rip Tires.
Yeah.
But he didn't die. He didn't die on point A or point B. He was alive on the cart, contesting, doing all the things Junkrat can do so well, but his only death happened 5 meters before the end, and that's why you have to say so much respect to No Smite.
Yeah, No Smite just looking good. I'm just baffled by the fact that he was like flexing. I mean, he's been on Winston this entire season.
97%.
Yeah, just...
And that 3% was not Junkrat, let me tell you.
That was Reinhardt. So it's like, not Zarya or Diva or anything
Literally,
like that.
you
He's
look
gone
at your sheet,
straight
you look at
to the
Winston's lab, and
Junkrat.
you're like, okay, well, 3% he's on another tank. You look at Cho Yubin, you're like, I'm surprised he's not 100%. He's known as a 100% Diva player.
Yeah.
They do a double flex, and suddenly, very difficult decision is left at the door of EnVyUs. I think they will choose Hollywood, but you were talking about innovation. Hollywood has birthed a lot, specifically the defense of triple support was birthed by Luxury Watch Blue on that map and used by Lunatic High and other members.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that the Torbjorn composition with Orisa is one that has been very
on
successful
Eichenwald as
on
well.
defense. Yeah, on Eichenwald at the same time, but I mean, having Orisa with a lot more barriers to throw down in front of turrets could be an opportunity here.
Both sides have gone for comfort and overall win rate. So I think Hollywood will probably be the selection from the side of EnVyUs, but I could also really get behind another curveball in a series that has given us so much. We saw the patch notes and we're like, well, it's not the big Reaper change. Probably not going to be a big deal. The madness has started already. The madhouse is certainly open. We're in that asylum, and we just want to know where it's going to end.
Yep, this is my favorite asylum to be in, the Game 5 asylum as well, as EnVyUs, they want to be in that upper bracket. They want to get the extended break, and let's see which hybrid map we're going to be going to, and it's going to be Hollywood, just like we predicted. It's a good win rate, but I still feel like there might be danger.
Huge defense first advantage, 75% defenders advantage on this map compared to King's Row, which has always been 49-51 at best. Really excited to see where we're going. I feel like I'm being just too greedy asking for more innovation, but
yeah, I know.
X6 have clearly been hiding strats or bringing back stuff from very deep in their war chest because they have had so much new stuff today, and most of the new has gone gold.
Yep. And look, maybe this is where the hype came from for X6. Maybe they were just slowly moving forward. As soon as it was all on the line, that's where we'd see it. And now it is all on the line. Game 5 between EnVyUs and X6. Final match.
I get it.
Always been struck by how much support there is for X6. If you think back to Super Week Atlas, they had the most support of any of the Challenger teams by a lot. That was, of course, their LAN debut since Challengers is played online. The fans got to see them for the first time. Well, they've had a season to do so, but a season only represents 3 best-of-5s. Remember, this is only their 4th best-of-5 they've played, such as the format here in Korea. So we'll have a look at the defense. We talked about that defender's advantage. So far, it has been pretty significant. EnVyUs on defense to start things up as, well, if you're putting a Torbjorn turret that advanced, maybe you are actually playing Torbjorn, Mickey.
I actually really love it because we see a lot of turrets being put down very, very forward just to build that molten core a little bit quicker. May as well fully invest into the forward turret placement.
They're also a team that runs Reinhardt the most of really any team here in Korea. They're 42% for Reinhardt in a meta where Winston can go as high as 99% in a lot of situations. And Nox, for example, on Rogue was criticized for not jumping on Reinhardt ever. Reinhardt has a lot of synergy with the second Torbjorn turret because the first one was just a scouting one.
Yep. See if it actually gets very much at all.
So it's triple DPS and a Torbjorn on the side of EnVyUs.
Is it almost quadra DPS?
It is almost quadra DPS. I'm willing to give it that.
Haha, yes.
Torbjorn and the Sombrook stuck in the middle, but when it's someone like Tymo or Rascal, you definitely do think of it as DPS.
I'm going to snap back. I like that turret placement.
Chips is the only healer here. If Timeboy gets him, this map really starts to go south.
They are protecting him the best they can as Godsby. Oh, he's going to get taken out. That's the turret that does the cleanup duty. I like it a lot. Harry Hook standing on the high ground here with his soldier, and they're able to get a whole bunch of these kills. Just so much damage coming out of EnVyUs in this first push, not able to get it done from X6.
Gonna need to see some swaps from the side of X6. Something like a Pharah won't really get sight lines for a lot of the Torbjorn turrets, but might be necessary. The only other approach is to
Sitting
go
in the garden.
Yeah, that's true. The only other approach is to go very much on eco pushes, which is a possibility, but doesn't necessarily have reliability. Molten Core's already at 77% of the build-up.
As Godsby's taking a lot of damage. He just can't seem to find a place to sit still and fire. High ground being well and truly controlled by EnVyUs.
Turret also does scout a lot, so knows the attack formation from the side of X6.
But here is the dive from X6. They get themselves into the house. That turret not exactly getting the work done. Yeah, Timeboy not going to be able to dash around, and Effect is going to be able to utilize that to pick up the kill. BB is going to be one of his other targets as Harry Hook's there as well, doing the work, but you can see it's all about Effect, chasing down these supports, and they will all be falling. Oh, having a field day. Look at the smirk on his face.
It's really cool how they're peeling for both the Torbjorn turret and often the Ana by just having the Sombra patrol around and either hack the Tracer, who's inevitably going to dash in and want to take down that solo healer, or have the EMP ready if they make a full commitment into the building on top of point A.
This is where things get really difficult as well for X6, Papa Smith, because multiple cores available, exactly. So that is just so hard to get through. They are going to invest it straight away. So EMP comes down, Mech is immediately destroyed, and EnVyUs are able to clean up a couple of kills, but they lose Effect and Timu. That's a lot of DPS, but there are still theoretically 2 available as Harry Hook sitting up here on the high ground. Oh, the Helix Rocket somehow gets BB as he was poking his head back around again.
You feel like X6 probably sees that as a success because they actually drew out Molten Core. So one of the ultimate defensive ults is down. Sombra ult is going to be down for, you'd probably estimate, if you're X6, another 20 seconds. So this is the window, opening with Transcendence and trying to take it before the next EMP is left up. They need to make a hard commit, and they need to make it now.
They have a defensive Earth Shatter. No, they don't, because Coco's going to be taken out to sleep. Onto Timeboy is there, but Godsby's going to get rid of the turret, and X6 should have been able to start this cart moving with a fantastic attack move.
And amazingly, it was the stubbornness of X6 to stick with what they thought would work eventually. They had the ult time, they didn't have to use that many of the ultimates. Only ended up being 2, I believe, invested in the end. The pick onto Coco was massive.
That was heroic from Timeboy.
Yeah, just dropping over. In the end, it was kind of a crying use of the ultimate there from Chips. It ended up being onto Effect, who was actually out-dueled largely by Bebe, who still has Transcendence available on the Zenyatta. Chips this time is going to be the one, so we see some flexes. Taimu onto the Soldier. Chips is going to be on Sombra. That means they're going to be going for a pretty aggressive contest of the cart, I think. Chips is already
Recall
dead.
from Effect is going to get him through. Yeah, Godsby's going to take down Chips, so inefficient use of that translocator, unfortunately, is Harry Hook. He's under fire, takes a lot of damage, but does survive. No, spoke too soon.
I mean, when Chips dies first, they only have Harry Hook for a heal, and everyone is exposed because they don't have much of a defensive line when they've gone for this pseudo-defensive dive on the side of EnVyUs, and they're being cleaned up, and the cart just won't stop.
And look at this, yeah, Primal Rage from No Smite gets completely rid of Taimu.
Someone jammed the accelerator on the cart that was, may not even got off the ground after a really good point A defense, but the street space has been great for X6.
Yeah, I thought Hollywood was in LA. Apparently it's in Germany, man. We're on the Autobahn. We are moving this one forward, but at least the Transcendence is there from Bebe to... No, it is from Bebe. So this is on the attack that they're utilizing it. And it's going to be X6 continuing their onslaught. I thought this might have been EnVyUs' chance to fight back.
Yeah, the perspective there was interesting. Basically, Transcendence was used the moment they sniffed out a Sombra, cancelled anything happening during the course of the EMP, and then they kept pushing because that Transcendence had been held on for so long, looking for that contest that we almost always see at the end of point B. It's not there, and the time bank, which was looking like it would be overtime by point C, is at 3 minutes.
Yep, No Smite getting himself back towards this card as well as X6 make their way back in attack formation.
A lot of ult economy here for EnVyUs. X6 need to decide before committing to any ultimates. They haven't seen any in a while, so it'd behoove them to be a little bit more conservative.
Oh, Bebe Effect taken out before he could get that pulse bomb down. Godsby eventually falls as Timer has the attack visor. Trying to find the targets, but doesn't get any more than that. Mickey, taken down very, very low, needs to get himself a health pack to get back into this fight, but Chips gets rid of Timeboy. This could be an opportunity despite having Harry Hook missing from this battle. Timer's going to get jumped on, though, as No Smite once again has that Primal Rage, and X6's onslaught on Hollywood is continuing. As soon as it becomes an escort map, Papa Smithy, it just looks good.
Yeah, the Primal Rage, the only ultimate used there, bought them the cart, finally pushing further, and now we're going to need to see some great ult usage. He's going to be the first one. It's EMP time.
Yeah, Chips jumps in.
Transcendence gets off again!
Yeah, another time. They get Sound Barrier in the end as well. No, that's EnVyUs. They throw that one down. Gilly was taken by Effect, so this could be good news. EnVyUs still trying to get the kills in, but Cherubin's there with the kill under Coco. Finally, EnVyUs getting some kills on the board, and Effect just cleaning up what he can. Cherubin is going to be left for dead, and Taimu eventually Helix rockets him because he's feeling angry, I think, Papa Smithy, because this cart has made it a long way for X6. Still 120, so not a massive amount of time left to push this one to the last point.
Not really too many ults apart from Attack Visor to do it, no Transcendence to buy time either. I have to compliment Bebe, who keeps predicting or having communicated the timing of the EMP and casting it early. And speaking of EMPs.
Yeah, he is going to be used, and that's 2 quick picks out for EnVyUs. Timer with the Attack Visor doesn't actually need to use it either. As the mech falls, Coco grabs the kill into Gilly, and X6 need to try again. It's going to leave Cherubin with the difficult decision of, do I switch back to my mech and give up all of my
He's being
ult
greedy
cards?
here because he has the ult available, just wants to die or build it up again. EnVyUs are happy to wait, but if they don't kill him, he will have it very soon. Yeah, so you just don't really, I mean, that's the only ult you have to buy space for Godspeed to get value. That's why they do not consider the switch over.
Yeah, he's going to jump back in his mech as well, so holds on to that self-destruct. It's good news, but Timer, bad news for him as Timeboy picks him up. He is going to trade his life, and Godspeed, he's now able to wreak havoc.
Attack Visor's down now. This is just the tracking here as they're taking down Coco as well. Finally, the cart starts to push. Still tools available, and very soon an EMP. from Chips.
Only 5 seconds to go, though, before we hit that overtime as EnVyUs, with the defender's advantage, should have an opportunity to still reform and get themselves back in. Multiple picks are going to be needed from X6 as there's the self-destruct to buy the space. And overtime continues to tick down. Effect is going to be taken, though. Mickey loses his mech. This could be it for X6 as they push forward. Sound barriers down from EnVyUs to get them onto this point, but it's answered by X6, who've only lost Bebe. X6 now picking up the kills that they need to move this cart onto the point. It's in overtime, but it's still looking good.
Here it is, they full push it, and having the two supports ended up being the difference. Not having both Transcendence and Sound Barrier meant that when there was the double support ultimate up, they staggered them, they managed to finish the push. The EMP was not enough despite being up. It felt once again on command, and X6, it looked like it was not going to be the full push when they took so long to take down point A. They set a target. They basically say, EnVyUs, if you can get this going, if you can keep it pushing, you probably will win, but you've got to go all the way.
And we've seen the defenses at the end of Hollywood as well last so incredibly long. X6 did a brilliant job making sure that they cleared it all at the same time. The coordination, I mean, we've had some question marks, Mighty OD being the spectacular failed attack at the very end, but certainly wasn't the case for X6.
The amount of times they got Transcendence off a millisecond before EMP would have wrecked them, because obviously a Zenyatta dies instantly to a stiff breeze if he cannot fend for himself with the Discord Orb or Transcendence after being EMP'd. There is that goal state. They are able to finish this with anything in the time bank. They will get at least a minute to push, and thus will have a significant lead. It took X6 a long time. They toiled on point A, but the Streets phase was among the fastest we've seen. It was some speed stuff right there.
Yep, the Autobahn was certainly in effect, even if we're in the wrong country. EnVyUs now thinking about what they want to build as far as composition on attack. We won't know for the moment.
Wonder if Taimu will road test the Hanzo. There's a possibility he goes for it here. We remember it was triple tank on defense. So far was employed once by X6, and guess who's good against triple tank? It's definitely the Hanzo.
Yeah, the ultimate actually pretty useful on some of the points when you're attacking first up, but I think we're looking for a Sonic Arrow to work out what this composition is out of X6.
That will be the swap. Onto the Reaper. Okay, so they're going for the Talon attack from the beginning. Team EnVyUs.
Don't want to waste any time with anything else. Taimu can get himself around here quite sneakily. See whether he's actually been spotted just yet as Chips just going to try and build some ult charge, hacking some of these health packs from around the back.
He really wants to hack the small pack here. He'll get it. That's actually really big. No defense into the house to get that small pack.
Look at how aggressive this is from Taimu as well. Immediately turning up. A lot of damage onto these tanks as he race walks his way back out, but X6 is the ones picking up the kills. It's just not enough from Taimu on this Reaper to really get much done. Chips is trying to save it as Effect recalls his way back. He builds up the Pulse Bomb, but really can't stay in here with so many of his teammates still walking back. Pulse Bomb comes in, but it's eaten. Defense Matrix may have had a range a little bit longer than what Effect was expecting there, because that was right on the edge.
It does also allow X6 to get their respawns off. Hacking that pack was probably more than expected from Chips. He hacks the pack on the other side of the approach to point A. They will not be diving the house just yet. EMP is up.
Gets into the house, utilizes it. See whether he's actually going to be able to get the kills though, because so far not too much happening. They trade 1 for 1 as Coco grabs Gilly, but Harry Hook's going to fall down as well. Lucioless is everyone as these trades continue. Taimu falling very early once again. He's got a nano boost onto No Smite. Trying to move himself forward, but EnVyUs lose 3 and X6 hold once again.
It's pretty much the same sort of result we saw when X6 was on the pushing phase, but by now they had their ults ready. We're looking at Chips to build up the EMP, and they can go for the combination of EMP and also the Death Blossom, which has been really the cornerstone of this Talon attack.
Yep, very, very close to it is Taimu, despite the fact that he's fallen down pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's Chips that needs to hurry up on the EMP, but that's usually very possible.
Yep. I feel like 10% on Death Blossom is about the same as Choban is going to lose the mech. This is actually a huge deal as it is going to be the sound barrier coming in, but Choban does get the self-destruct kill onto Coco.
But there's now Not as much latitude for there to be defense matrix for the inevitable Death Blossom. We're waiting for it.
Yeah, it does come in, but we don't have the EMP just yet. Chips is so close, but he's taken down by BB. Death Blossom comes, whoa, it's available, but Timer's life is not. That is even more space bought for X6.
So the fact that he could get remeched and not taken down, was at about 200 health, re-healed up. They need to find a way to take down this D.Va and stop her from ruining the day, or have them get the drop specifically with the Sombra. But X6 have been so on point at denying EMPs. It's going to be a difficult one. Chips has to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Atlas.
Yeah, well, he's trying to get there now as No Smite Type's really far forward. We're going to try and disrupt what EnVyUs is doing because it's so important for them to be coordinated. And when they lose these key members early on in these battles, they really do just need to get the heck out of there. And Mickey, he's going to lose his life as well. The rest of EnVyUs know that they don't have very long to get this working. In effect, a staggered kill like that, that is not what EnVyUs need.
And now there's so many different ways to approach this if you're X6. You can push up, try to get a pick before the approach, and maybe you thwart it. You can also really divide up your threats because you know 100% what is available. At minimum, the Reaper and the Sombra ults. Chips needs to catch 3 in this ult. Even if the D.Va's alive, it ruins all the hopes. There it is.
Yeah, that's going to be EMP as Effect is able
to... He slapped!
Oh my god, it happened! Timer unable to utilize it. He throws down the Death Blossom late, but he's dead.
Very, very low.
Oh yeah,
least.
very,
Not
very low.
taken
He
down.
actually went down to 0, but then eventually falls. Overtime has ticked in. Chips is now in the house. Self-destruct comes down. It's going to be no kills available. This Timeboy's so close to having that ultimate. Now wants to try and get onto that point and get EnVyUs off it as they're looking to try and tick this one up. It is moving almost up to the second tick. But to push this the whole way with so little time available to them will be so difficult. However, they're still on the point.
Yeah, it looks like they will finally get it at least. It looked like it was thwarted by the sleep dart as well. Second contest.
Yeah, and Choyobin, he gets back onto the point as well, so that's so much more time that they bought. With D.Va able to do so much, the recall comes in. Taimu now building up his Death Blossom once again. EnVyUs do eventually get that push in. 2.5 minutes to make it all the way through the streets. And for EnVyUs' sake, I hope it really is an Autobahn.
It's a surreal that we have another series after this one, Alice. This one has gone and taken so many different twists and turns. The sleep onto the Reaper before Death Blossom looked like it would ruin the day of EnVyUs, but they attacked the point in all the kerfuffle. They were able to claim it just in overtime. And that's all they're looking for. One more claim here is, well, it's a nano-boosted monkey.
Yeah, that is a nano monkey. Gets booped back, but is going to be able to cause a bunch of disruption. Effect recalls, but is tracked actually by Timeboy. Knows that he has that skill advantage right now. Okay, Choyobin takes down Chips. We saw that for a split second as No Smite was eventually dealt with. Choyobin playing with this. And look, honestly, X6, they're utilizing these ultimates because they know they just need to stop this for moments. Exactly. They're trying to stagger as best they can, but EnVyUs, they throw down their sound barrier as well. There's the EMP as X6 have no use of their abilities, and Mickey is able to go ballistic with none of that defense. Godsby has his Dragon Blade now.
Not the time for it, though.
He's on the Genji. Yes, he's certainly on the retreat. Coco's doing what he can to get rid of him.
That does mean the cart will continue to push, and for now, Godsby's very out of position. Found a big pack, and eventually will regroup with the team, but it's going to be another one of these final fights as Taimu's looking for a sneaky spot for the Death Blossom.
If he isn't spotted out, this could be a good opportunity.
For now, he is unspotted, as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
When we start shooting shotguns, here he is.
Yeah, there he is. Drops over to the side. The Bionic Grenade was fantastic.
And he was also eaten by the D.Va as well.
Oh, God. Just not exactly what you want, but it's fantastic reactions from X6 that we need to be focusing on. Timer is dealt with, but EnVyUs still fighting. Good reflect from Godsby keeps him alive. After that, Dragon Blade did a fair bit for X6, but EnVyUs was still winning that battle quite nicely as they're pushing this one so close to the second point.
It looks like they're going to claim it, though. They've got a good numbers advantage here, but the respawns, because of the position, are starting to come in. Choyobin has been majestic at holding cards, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Speaking of another D.Va as well, Mickey on this attack is looking brilliant on top of this card. Throws down the self-destruct there as well. X6 losing people left, right, and center, and there it is.
Still contesting it.
Not quite there. Okay, No Smite dealt with, and then we make it to the second point. 1.5 minutes to get this all the way forward. Remember, it was in overtime for X6 as well. This is certainly down to the wire.
I saw you gasping for breath. It must be now, but someone else pops in to contest at the last second. Taimu looking for a tracer. Was very advanced on the pot. We'll just back away. The health pack was hacked, so he'll just get some EMP percentage for chips.
Yep, thank goodness. This Taimu, he's going to be dealt with. That's 2 picks for X6, as that's a lot of the damage now gone.
Taimu needed to be pushed up, though, to actually farm up Death Blossom again, so him dying right there isn't the biggest deal. I realize he's probably going to take another push. He didn't overcommit to the push either.
Would you say it was an eco push, Pops, maybe?
Not really, because you're so late in that no one's really in the mindset of farm for ultimates, and Taimu decides he's had enough of the Reaper, going back onto his trusty Soldier. It's most played this season.
Yep.
Big ult economy advantage for EnVyUs, but it doesn't always matter. You invoked Mighty before.
Well, Pulsebomb not going to find the stick onto Taimu from Timeboy. It's away from Medivh, nothing to be eaten, but you still need to hit it as EnVyUs.
This is the push. It has to be now.
Exactly, because we're heading into overtime once again. And that's going to be EnVyUs picking up a bunch of kills. They didn't even need to use a heck of a lot of ultimates as well for this one. This is a huge deal. Primal Rage there, which can be so useful on this final push-in.
Baby needs to farm up the ultimate. Transcendence could be the real tool to allow some delays for X6's chips. He wants to just deal with the Zenyatta.
Oh, he hops his way back, actually faking out on that EMP. Wanted to stop it, wanted to make him use an early one as the Transcendence does come down. There is still an EMP available. Taimu is taken, and Harryhook's dead as well. EnVyUs, they're losing all of their team members.
Kill!
A double kill out from Trioben from X6, and this may have actually won them the set as the overtime ticks down, and X6, the underdogs, take down EnVyUs after 2 clean sweeps in a row against previous opponents. This is the team that we wanted to see coming out of Challenger.
We wondered when X6 would show their true selves. It wasn't in the promotion tournament. It didn't appear to be in the regular groups either, but finally here, they step up and they are so elated. You could hear Taimu ringing through their heads. They talked about, hey, sit in your spots, we'll come and find you after. And we thought that was just acting tough. Was it just a Korean interview where they aren't really being honest? Well, guess what? They've managed to claim a very unlikely victory. Not many people would have tipped X6 picking up the match win here, but they had so many different strategies that clearly they didn't want to show earlier. They waited for their spot, they bided their time, and their time was now.
Yeah. And No Smart, you saw the camera stayed with him for quite some time there. That is because that Junkrat on Dorado was easily the highlight for me, Papa Smithy. Really, you throw a wrench that far into someone's plans, you can honestly tilt them for the rest of the series.
But you know what the best part is, Atlas? This was just a winner's match, remember. We still will have EnVyUs fighting for the losers bracket. Afrika Blue, the undefeated team, may actually be facing X6-Gaming in the winners final. And guess what? We might get a rematch between these two teams that went 5 games, multiple overtimes, and a damn tiebreaker, even after the rules came in and the changes came in to dissuade tiebreakers from happening. Here are the embraces. Clearly no hard feelings. But on the day, you couldn't really separate the two. Felt like King's Row, a 51-49, but the 51 was X6.
Yeah, and this is not like EnVyUs not performing to the level that we were expecting necessarily. This was X6 really stepping up and showing that they deserved the hype that they had moving into Season 3 and earning their spot into Apex. Taimu getting the double respect as they go in and out as well. Big hugs. Obviously no hard feelings. Like you said, Papa Smithy.
Feels like X6 are 1 match victory away. If they can win the winners bracket final, people will start hearkening them to run away in Season 2 because they did come through Challenger, they came through the promotion tournament. They are the Royal Roaders, Atlas. Remember, they could come through and win in their first season in the big time. And that looked like it wouldn't even be a storyline when they struggled to get over the line, just inched past Runaway. But when they pick up a win here, you do start to wonder. The seeds of doubt, or maybe the seeds of optimism, start to be planted.
And we have to look back at this series as well with how incredibly one-sided the games 2 and 3 were game 2 was in favor of EnVyUs. Then they were able to lock down Assault, and when it is so grueling and it gets to that tiebreaker, that is so difficult for your mental state. Set point was available for EnVyUs, but the fact that this young team was able to hold themselves together in that moment is a huge deal.
Yeah, the other thing Taimo talked about was veteran status, of having players who've been around and seen that. X6 doesn't have that, but 2.5 hours later, they do find themselves with the match win over Envy.
Yep, they looked fantastically good. And look, Luxury Watch Blue and Combox Spirit certainly have a difficult task ahead of them.
Gotta live up to this.
Yeah, they have to bring us a pretty damn hype series. If we know anything about both of these teams, though, I feel like they may possibly be able to deliver. In fact, we might have yet another Junkrat on our hands. But let's go to a short break. When we get back, our second series of the night.
Coming up next, LW Blue, Combox Spirit.